live for another Wednesday night. Happy Hump Day. We
Happy
have
Hump
with
Day.
us Mr. DG Bricks, David. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming and hanging out tonight.
Thank you for having me on. It's an
Yeah,
honor. I know you've had some other Lego influencers on the show, so happy to be here. Happy to talk shop.
yeah, yeah. You were I refer to you guys as the four horsemen of Lego investing.
Who do you mean?
Um, you and Kevin and Brian and Jim.
Ah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. Because you are the four personalities out there. There are other people out there that it's good people. They're doing good things, but I don't think they have the personality of you guys.
Well, thank you.
Is
Yeah,
uh,
it's my channel, and so it's gonna be me. Darn it. Uh,
Yep, that's awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We get the notifications and throw the headphones on. I rarely see any of the visuals. I think I'm not alone in that because you guys are clear enough in the information you present that the visuals aren't always necessary and the show's still good.
Hmm.
Appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's funny. Like a year ago, I put out a poll to my viewers asking just that: Do you actually watch or do you just listen? Because I tend to just listen. Other long form interviews, things like that. Like, yeah, and a fair number of people. I was kind of surprised how many actually do watch. I was like, okay, like
Really?
I edit my own videos. I was like, well, I better keep putting the visuals in. Like I can't slack off on that.
Yeah. Is that hard? So when you go through and you plan a video,
Hmm.
do you have to actually stop and remind yourself to address more visuals, or do they just kind of come naturally and then you just have to kind of step up the quality of the visuals? Hopefully that question made some kind of sense there.
It did make sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I write my videos, I don't write a script like word for word. I just kind of write notes, like what sets. I kind of give myself notes on to remind myself why I'm making the argument for why I think this set maybe will go up in value or why this set won't go up in value. Um, but generally, by the time I record my videos, I pretty much know exactly what visuals go where. Like if I'm talking about minifigures, okay, obviously show the minifigures. If we're comparing this to some old set, show the old set. Um, that's kind of, I guess, if I can let people in on a little secret, that's kind of the trick to YouTube, right? It's visual, excuse me, visual communication, right? Show, don't tell.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm of a slightly older generation, but that doesn't come naturally to me as a viewer, that- regardless of what side of the camera I'm on, I suppose. I very rarely listen to anything that's less than an hour long.
Really?
It's yeah, I have the headset on a good 10 or 12 hours a day. So anything less than an hour, I feel like I'm constantly pulling my phone out of my pocket. It's I love a good deep dive. Let's listen to, a 3 hour podcast and get after it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I felt that way when a couple of years ago, I did a road trip from Los Angeles, where I'm from, out to Chicago, where I live now. It's like 2,000 miles, took me 4 days. And I kind of felt like that that whole time. I was like, wow, another Joe Rogan podcast? All right.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's stuff like that is cool because you start really getting into the weeds. And if they're a good storyteller, you get so wrapped up in their story or whatever the topic is, the time flies by. And then next thing you know, you're halfway to whatever your next destination is, to refuel or a hotel room or whatever else is going on. That helps.
Yeah. It's a nice break from what we were just talking about before the show about social media. Um,
Yeah.
I work in social media, but I don't really think it's good for your brain or for the world. So I have kind of a mixed relationship on that. So it's nice that as much as social media has taken over the world and people's minds, um, podcasts have also kind of exploded the last couple of years in long form discussions like this.
Yep.
So I think that's awesome, and I know which direction I'm going to go.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. 'Cause you can actually get to know somebody. And that was that was one of the big things with starting the show is there's so many great channels out there, but all you get is whatever the topic of the videos are,
Mhm.
channel theme, whatnot. And you start to kind of get to know them little tiny bits and pieces here and there, and you're like, okay, well they're cool, but I want to know more about them. And then you got to dig, and either there's no background on these people at all, or they've been in the community for so long, you're scrolling back 2 or 3 years, the information's all outdated, and searching through YouTube is a miserable experience.
Yeah.
It's just terrible.
Well,
Or
especially
maybe I'm just really bad at using it. But
no, I don't think it's you. Um, we're up to so for those that don't know, I run the podcast. We call it a podcast. It's really just longer YouTube videos called Brick Talk with KDX Bricks Analytics, who is a great guy, good friend of mine, both within Lego and also just personally. He's become a really great friend. But we're up to episode 29 of these 45-minute podcasts. And sometimes I get comments of people, hey, talk about this set, or can you talk about this? And I have to refer them like, oh, check episode 17, minute number 22. Like, who wants to do that?
yeah, it's a lot of work. And when you search for that, you don't even get the exact search result that you're asking for. They show you what they think you actually wanted, not what you actually wanted. That drives me crazy. They're like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, that's not what you wanted. This is what you wanted. It's like, well, I was fairly specific in my search. But,
I mean, I don't know. What are your searches? How specific we getting?
I mean, I usually do very simple things like Clear the Shelf. It's one of my favorite shows. It's an Amazon FBA show. I know the host, and I'll search. It's Clear the Shelf with whatever guest it is.
Mm.
And I know from listening to all of their shows if the guest has been on once or twice. And so it'll give you 2 or 3 other results, and then the fourth one or whatever will be the guest I was searching for. Well, the first 3 were not that guest. Why
It's
would you
just
show me those 3?
because Google, YouTube they know what you want. Well, they think they know.
Yep. And some of those times I'll realize that I hadn't seen those 3. I had listened to them actually through a podcast instead of on YouTube. So maybe I can justify it a bit that way, but drives me crazy.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hey,
that's
Momus is
something
here. Hey, Joe.
oh, it popped up. Did that come up on screen?
Oh yeah, so when comments come up, you can actually tap on them in chat, and it'll pull them up on the screen.
Oh,
And then you
got
can
it.
just hit the space bar and make it go away.
Not, do I have those powers or just you?
I think just me for this one. You can go ahead and try. If you hover over the comment, should say show. You have the ability
No,
to put it on there. No?
no, it's all right. That's okay.
All right.
But
Well,
yeah, as a like when I'm thinking of YouTube video ideas, something I definitely struggle with is the title and the thumbnail and kind of like how to phrase the topic or the title. Um,
yeah, that's why we have ChatGPT now. So nice.
it does help. It does help. I will admit I do use it as a thought partner.
Yep.
Like rephrase this
Yep.
10 different ways, and then sometimes I'll mix and match. And yeah.
Yeah. So what I've started doing is like for this show, I asked ChatGPT, like, hey, are you familiar with DG Bricks? What can you tell me? And then
Oh.
you get 10 or 15 paragraphs. Like, okay, well, those are pretty good details. Let's key in on this. Okay, let's go that route. Now give me image ideas, show title ideas, um, text for the thumbnail, text for Instagram stories, and break all that down. And then there's actually a Canva GPT within ChatGPT that it can send that stuff over to Canva for you, help guide you through there. It's unbelievable.
Wow. You were just saying before this you're not tech savvy. What are you talking about, Ken?
Well, I'm not. I asked ChatGPT how to do it all. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've already learned something.
yeah, it's helpful. And now it's got voice mode. So while your phone's up in the little cradle in your car, you can just hit the button and you can just talk to it and it'll
Yeah,
talk back to you and it'll record all the text of the conversation so you can reference it later.
crazy. Do you ever, as a someone who uses AI, I'm assuming so you've researched me, which is kind of funny because I've not researched me. But
Oh,
when
you
you're
should.
supplying, now after this I will. When you're supplying your own information, are you nervous about privacy?
I'm not because I don't put anything actually private in there. I don't
Sure.
tell it anything that I wouldn't say like live on this show. So I try to be pretty careful about that.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I think of like I use it for DG Brick's YouTube video ideas. I use it for um, rephrase this email for me. I use it for I'm rewriting my resume, rephrase these bullet points, and I wonder if it can like triangulate kind of who I am. I'm not putting my social security in there or anything, but
So I don't know if this is correct. So I guess I should throw that out there first. But I've started making these basically the custom GPDs. So I'll go in and I have one that just updates the retirement list for me,
mm,
and one that is basically my social media manager. And it's all dialed in. You're a professional social media manager. You speak with this kind of tone. This is your delivery. This is what your voice sounds like, that kind of thing. And I try to keep all of those separate. So when I'm doing not so much more personal things, but when I'm using it like a search engine because I'm too lazy to move over to Google or something,
yeah,
it's not entering those kind of thought processes in with the Brick Dynasty stuff that I'm doing.
okay, that makes sense.
Because I don't ever want it to think, it's say I'm looking at the stock market or I'm looking at, it's baseball scores or something. I don't want it to think that Brick Dynasty is also involved in like trading or sports.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's smart enough to differentiate. So I I try to keep all of that separate.
yeah, totally. Well, I mean, you mentioned baseball, you mentioned stock market. We have way too much to talk about. We'll maybe try and keep it Lego focused for today. But
Yeah, and now of course next time I open my phone, it's gonna give me an ad for something related to one of the two.
yeah,
Because
sure.
they're always listening somehow.
One one interesting use I had for GPT. I personally I don't do a lot of when I'm sourcing Lego investing inventory. I don't do a lot of Walmart clearance just
Mhm.
because I live in a big metro area. It tends to be pretty picked over. Um,
Yep.
then my hometown, another Los Angeles, another big metro area. So it tends to be picked over. But I used it. I said, please make me a road trip itinerary hitting. I was going to kind of southern, like southwestern rural Wisconsin. I said, make me an itinerary hitting as many rural Walmarts as possible, like on main routes. And then it did it. And I was like, no more than 7 minutes from the highway. And it did. It came up with a round trip, like a 6 hour round trip, hitting like 10 or 12 different Walmarts. And I actually never ended up doing the trip. Um, but I think I just might next Walmart clearance season.
Cool. That sounds
Yeah.
like fun.
Yeah.
It- There's on on the Clear the Shelf podcast that I mentioned earlier. They interviewed this guy Nick Spizak, and Nick's a cool guy. He just went full time. selling on Amazon. He's got a million different things going on, and he is very much a tech guy. And AI is like half of his reselling business now. He's got so much automated and so much of it built into his processes. It's a really interesting show.
I would love to check it out.
Yeah, yeah, that one's really good. And he's one of those guys too that, well, you don't do the social, so I don't know, email him or something.
Yeah.
But he's very good about sharing information and being helpful with stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, the being willing to share and helping others. It's
Yeah,
kind of the elephant in the room with making content about Lego investing is that we're kind of training our direct competitors in a way.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And so that's a topic that I want to get into at the end of the month when everybody's on
sure.
and see where that goes. I'm just gonna wear a referee costume and just let you guys go at it. See what happens there.
All right.
So
I'll tell me if I
because
red team or blue team.
yeah, we gotta figure that out. We'll let so I'll have to send you the image. I had ChatGPT make an image of the four of you guys, myself and Saunders,
Hmm.
and it came up with like an A team image from like the old TV show.
I think Kevin showed me this.
Did he? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe the job that thing did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably do something similar and just have it pick teams on its own and see what it comes up with. That could be
Oh,
fun.
that'll be a hoot. I'm looking forward to it. It's in my calendar.
Awesome. Yeah, it's because I'm always curious about things like that because there's no way to tell. Like if you there's no like data source to really reference to say, okay, well, X amount of people put out videos talking about these things. Kevin
Hmm.
tracks a lot of that data, but you can't tell on the investor side of things how many of each set people bought specifically because of the videos, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there, there's a whole bunch of Lego Discord groups and whatever else out there. You got to assume that a lot of them are eyeing the same things. How much does that impact things? It's,
I don't know
there's
how
a lot
much. I
less
know
of
it
them.
does.
Yep, yep, for sure. I mean, God, last year when, is it last year? That might have been the year before. It's hard to keep track now. Whenever the White House retired, and we had a pretty good sale on that one.
Hmm.
I think just in group, we must have gone through. I think we tracked at least 5,500 units came into the group.
Wow.
We get some big spenders, and
Yeah.
and then you think about it afterwards. It's like, okay, that's a fair amount of units, but we're one group. Who else
Yeah.
caught that before it sold out? There's a couple dozen anyway that are on my radar. Are they all hitting, 5K plus? If
I
the
mean,
groups went away, what happens?
I don't know. To different degrees, it does affect the market. We have things like last year with the Republic fighter tank, or maybe was that 2 years ago now
Oh,
already?
yeah,
Like objectively, by all factors, past comps, supply demand. Okay, well, it was way oversupplied on Amazon, but like that was the most no-brainer Lego investment. So everyone went in, and then obviously it underperformed, and
yeah,
so you're kind of trying to avoid things like that. It's like it's what's it called? There's a word for this, like opposite of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It undoes itself.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
important anyway. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, I do. And that was a weird one too, because now it's so easy for Amazon sellers to sell internationally. And people forget that that's not just us being able to sell to other countries, that's other countries selling to us as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, something might be a Target exclusive here, but it might not be exclusive at all in other regions where it's just plentiful
Yeah.
or cheaper. And looking at the UK, those guys they don't get the 70% off clearance that we get or crazy things, but they get 30 or 40% off sales all the time. It's such a regular thing for them.
Is it though anymore? I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
maybe it's an echo chamber in my comment section, but my comment section, all the European commenters I have are like, wow, those US discounts widespread at 30, 40, 50% off. Like, that's amazing. In Europe, it's not like that.
Yeah, I think in the last year and a half, it's toned back. Um, what region are they in? Europe's a funny place because maybe it's just a stupid American in me, but Europe is like this big, and there's 87 freaking countries jammed into like Texas, and but they all have their own unique little systems, and it's strange when you listen to like somebody from Ireland talk and about things, and then somebody from Germany like, wait, that's not an exclusive here. And to
Mm,
me, they're different countries, but they're so close. That'd be like I don't know, somebody in California telling me that it's not a Target exclusive, it's a Walmart exclusive, and it's like I don't know, you're right there. How can that even be? That stuff blows my
American
mind.
American perspective bias, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're just too big. Well, we're not too big, but comparatively speaking, we're
Yes.
very large.
The, it is large. Yeah. Um, I lived in London when I was in school. I did a semester over there. And
Cool.
I wasn't into Lego at the time. That was 2017 that I was there. But I went to Argos. I went to Marks and Spencer. I went to Tesco. All these European
Yeah.
Lidl is a German market. I don't know if they
Oh,
carry
never heard of
Lego.
that one.
Okay, Lidl.
Okay.
It's kind of like Aldi. If you've been to Aldi in the States,
Okay. Yep.
like it's very German. They really focus on efficiency. Um, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. My grandmother came here from Germany, and I'm just picturing her running a grocery store. It's
Yeah.
everybody just sounds so grumpy, even when they're pleasant.
My favorite, for whatever reason, talk about social media. The algorithm has decided to start serving me um, reels, Instagram reels of SpongeBob SquarePants dubbed in German. It's the German version. So it's like
Awesome.
Gary, and then it's German. I can't even. I'm not even gonna imitate some German, but it's hilarious.
That's great.
Yeah,
Uh, d so is it German in tone as well, or just German in language?
I would say both. It's
Okay.
both. It's dubbed, so the lip sync doesn't work, but it's surprisingly angry. I mean, I know what SpongeBob's American voice actor sounds like. It's kind of nasally, kind of like this, and
Yeah.
the German is a lot pretty angry for a kids show. I would say angry sounding. I don't know. Like I said, I don't speak the language.
That's
It's
so
just
funny.
funny.
Yeah. Okay. So you said that was 2017. You said you were out there?
2017, I did 5 months in London. Yeah.
Okay. And you weren't collecting Lego. So was that during a dark age, or was that just before you started in general?
Um, Good question. I would say middle of my dark age. So kind of
Okay.
my Lego fandom story. Um, I'm 28 years old. So the first Lego sets that I really remember getting into were the 2005 Lego Star Wars class.
Cool.
So Clone Scout Walker, Arc 170, Clone Turbo Tank, the light up one.
Nice.
And then I pretty much, I didn't have every single Lego Star Wars set, but I had my favorites, the ones I asked for Christmas and birthdays and things like that, from '05 to about 2010. My dark age, I would say, was starting 2011 all the way through about 2020 when I got
Okay.
into Lego investing.
So right about COVID time. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. Yeah, the first Lego investing content I can remember watching is a channel that I don't think they really post anymore. Toy Talk guys.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
I remember them.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were cool. I like them.
I loved their videos.
Yeah. Yeah, I think was it it must have been a year or two ago. They went like on a 6 month hiatus and then they came back for like one or two episodes and then disappeared again. And I kind of lost track of them after that. But yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
were
know
fun.
they were very fun. Yeah, it's hard to be consistent as a
Hmm.
YouTube creator, especially if it's not your full time thing, which I think for most Lego investing YouTubers, it's not. We have day
Yeah.
jobs or other things we're working on. So yeah, the consistency is hard.
Yeah. And it's, if I remember right, I think both of them had kids as well.
Mm,
So kids and jobs and the hobby gets significantly more expensive towards the end of that show. So yeah, yeah, that's tough. Kids make
totally.
the schedule so hard.
I
That's why
wouldn't
they go
know.
to show late. Yeah, yeah. Well, take my word for it. It makes it complicated.
I'm sure I'll learn someday.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I set up my desk and everything immediately after they go to bed. This involves far too many wires for while they're awake.
got it. Yeah. Do you have a dedicated room? I mean, I see your drawers behind you.
This is my living room.
Serious?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. This is my
nuts.
living room.
I would never guess that.
Yeah, yeah. And basically, the other side of the living room, the entire rest of that wall, I have, what do I got? Six more columns of these over there. And then we got all the commercial hopper buckets and everything. TV's jammed in between columns, Lego.
That's
It's
so that's I don't think I've ever seen that. A lot of bricklinkers I know it's either a basement or a room or a garage. Like that's actually really cool to me that your living room is is basically a bricklink store.
yep, yep. It's not great for owning sets though. You get a little jammed for space for your own display.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything is up there for the most part,
Okay.
and
On
all of the
top.
other columns around the room. It keeps them safe
Yeah.
from the kids, though. They can't reach up that high.
Yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh God, I don't even want to think about that one.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of
So
a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, just talking about the Lego hobby, it's obviously a worldwide company with worldwide fans. People from all walks of life enjoy the hobby. Different ways to enjoy the hobby. So it's kind of everyone puts their own spin on it.
Yeah, that makes it so much more fun, I think, because you can have the Star Wars guys, and then you can have the Star Wars girls, and then you can have the Star Wars other people. Wait, that's all Star Wars. There's so much Star Wars.
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's
It's
if you look behind me, it's pretty clear kind of my where my interests are.
yep, yep. It's so I have I have a good appreciation for Star Wars, and we've consumed like every bit of Star Wars content that there's been. We stay fairly up to date. The sets don't do it for me so much.
Hmm.
Just not personal taste, I guess. And
Fair.
with my display setup, it wouldn't look good anyway, because it would just be like a train of gray ships, right? It wouldn't look so great. So I tend to look for non-Star Wars content. That's hard to find.
In
Like
Lego, you mean?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there's one-off shows where it's like, oh, we're gonna do a Ninjago episode, or we'll do an ideas episode or something like that. But there aren't a whole lot of full channels dedicated to a specific theme unless it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would agree with that. It's kind of like the Lego world. I mean, what are the biggest channels? Like Duck Bricks, Solid Brick Studios. Um, I don't watch a lot of the really huge guys. There's M&R.
yep,
Um,
yep. Oh man, Life Bricks, which man, I hope comes back at some point.
yeah, I don't know exactly what happened with him, but I used to watch his stuff. Used to love his stuff.
Yeah, he's he's still around. He's on a couple of Brickheads just about every Thursday night. There's kind of a guest with them hanging out, and he'll pop up live into other people's streams here and there, but he's just not putting out his own content anymore. And he's never really explained. He disappeared for months and was out of contact for with just about everyone, I think. Never explained why when he came back. I mean, really, it's none of our business anyway.
Yeah,
But
life
when
happens.
you get, yeah, when you get used to a very public personality and then they come back and they don't explain why, it's like, but you were so public. Like,
Yeah.
we watched him grow up on YouTube. And all of a sudden he's gone. Oh no.
Yeah. I know he used to do a lot about leaks,
Yep.
which is, first of all, really interesting. Um, Gets a lot of clicks. But I have found when I make content about leaks, I'm pretty slow about editing my videos. So between recording and posting is like minimum a couple of days. And usually by then the information's outdated, or there's more information, or other people have already put out their videos on it. So it's like, I just, I don't even like to make videos about leaks anymore. Just there's no shelf life.
Yeah. And everybody has gotten so strict with the copyright hits and everything. If you use the wrong image at the wrong time from the wrong source, I forget which set it was. There was one recently where it was an actual picture, photograph, whatever, of a new release that was just put on the shelf early at a store. So it wasn't anybody like stealing an image from anywhere, sneaking in a back room. It
Hmm.
was just like basically on the shelf at Kohl's or some kind of nonsense like that. And anybody who shared it got hit and the image got taken down and everybody got in trouble.
Got
It's like,
a strike or whatever.
yeah, it's like nobody was doing anything sneaky.
I don't even understand what Lego's rules are on what's allowed and what's not. So I don't even bother, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll let other people do that. I'll stay in my lane. I'll try to really stick with the set analysis. Like most of the time, those leaks come out. I kind of feel like on Brick Talk, the podcast, a lot of the recent episodes we have talked about leaks, and there's not really much to say. It's always like, well, this looks cool. We can break it down, and it's like, well, we're not going to be buying these for investing for a year, so who cares?
Yep.
Do you guys think it has potential or not? But we don't know supply and demand yet, so we can't really say. It's like, what is there to say?
Yep. Yeah. I tend to, whenever there's a leak or a new release, I'll chime in to group or whatever social media I'm on at the time when I see it, the new Monster Book of Monsters, as an
Yeah.
example. Like, look at this. This just makes my wallet feel swollen because we made a lot of money off of the last Monster Book of Monsters GWP. That thing was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But like you said, we have no data on this. We don't know if it's going to be exclusive anywhere. We don't know what the shelf life is going to look like. I don't think we have real pricing on it. So
Yeah.
who knows? If
And then
it's
it's like,
$30 overpriced, well, doesn't matter.
and then if you make content about that, a month later, when the information comes out that say it isn't exclusive, now you get all these comments like, well, you didn't say it was an exclusive. It's like, well, this video is a month old, and so I don't know. I want to get back to basics, which is really focusing on the retirement list, really focusing on the operations of running a Lego investing business. That's kind of where I'm gonna start to focus. But to get back to that first book of monsters, that stupid pun. That was a monster of a set.
Yes, it was.
2021. I remember was it $100 threshold?
Yeah, I think it was something like that, 100, 120. It was really low.
I think it was
Um,
120. And it was that year was the year that the Attack on the Burrow was retiring. The
yep,
$100 Target exclusive, which kind of underperformed in the end.
yep,
Um, but I remember like photographic memory of shop at home and adding the Burrow to my cart, and I can't remember some other stuff, and looking at again, I was kind of new to Lego investing because I really got into it 2020, started watching content, and the first year that I really bought a lot of retiring sets was 2021. So I put it in my cart. I was like, do I want to go with this GWP? I was learning at that time that when they first come out, they peak in value and then it's a race to the bottom. I was like, do I want to really spend my time with that? I was like, forget it. I'm not going to do it. And then, of course, that's the GWP
no,
that it's like $50, $70 on a 120 spend.
yep, yeah. And then we really got a curveball, and for a very short period of time, they were available as a GWP at Barnes and Noble,
Really?
and some Barnes and Noble were actually putting them for sale as well.
What?
Yeah, so I, I forget what we figured it out. It was I don't think it was all of them. There was I don't know, 15 or 20 stores or so that we were aware of where you could actually buy them off the shelf. And for like a $75 or $100 Harry Potter buy-in at the store or online, I think it worked too. You could also get your Monster Book of Monster GWP there. So yeah, it was great. And walk right into the store. They had them right behind the shelf. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we can't get rid of these things. Do you want an extra?
What?
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yep.
that happened to me with the Santa's fireplace holiday Barnes and
Yep.
Noble gift a couple years ago. That one wasn't not that the Barnes and Noble people would know or care, but that was only going for maybe 25 or 30.
Yep. It's still nice though.
Um, I mean, it's a little bonus, and they did offer me an extra. Hey, do you want an? Of course I do, but I
Yeah.
would trade them all for Book of Monsters in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so last year, Barnes and Noble actually sent us an entire case of GWPs. A whole case. Like fresh, unopened box.
Like in the
We still
Lego
don't know
case
why.
pack.
Yeah, yeah, like just a legit case, like they were supposed to have behind the counter. And
Why?
we thought that it was because somebody misunderstood the instructions, and instead of sending one set, they sent one case, like they didn't know better.
Yeah,
But then when I opened the box and pulled my sets out, there was also one single unit in there. So we never figured out why it happened, but I gave away half of them, and the other half I sold. Worked out all
okay,
right.
that's
I
cool.
think
Yeah,
we may have a built one somewhere too. Yeah, it
that's
was
pretty
a
sweet.
weird,
That's
weird mistake.
bank error in your favor,
Yeah, yeah,
to quote the Monopoly card.
yeah. I never understood it. It was the weirdest stroke of luck. So I just threw it out there like, hey, I have whatever it was, I'm giving away 15 of these or something. If anybody wants to, send me the cost of shipping, and I'll send them out.
Yeah,
Give back a little bit, make me feel a little better about the windfall there.
that's cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's strange. So the moral of the story is everybody that's listening, make sure you try to get your Barnes and Noble GWP because you never know when Santa might come.
Yeah, another thinking of GWPs, the Walmart Gazgano's Pod Racer. You know that one?
Yes. Yep.
I think it was like $75 spend on any Lego Star Wars at Walmart during, was it around, I think, November of last year?
Hmm.
Or yeah, it was last year. It was about 6 months ago. Um, late 24. I purchased sets that were eligible, submitted my claim, never got it, like never heard back. And then my house burned down and everything happened. I kind of forgot about it. But months later, like 6 months later, okay, not 6 months, but months later, I saw people receiving theirs. Like for some reason, Walmart just took months to send those out. Was that a year and a half ago or just 6 months?
I want to say it was 6 months ago. I feel like it was last Q4. Might have been
Yeah.
early last Q4. I don't know. Everything just kind of blends together.
Yeah.
Time
I've only
flies
been
too
doing
fast.
this. I've only been doing this 3 years, and it blends together for me. So I can't imagine what the long time people feel.
Yeah. Oh, I only started, it was May of 2020, so it hasn't been that long.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Fairly new. I didn't, God, dating myself here. I didn't build my first Lego set till I was 40.
Really?
Yep. Never once in my life.
What was the set?
Um, I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
Wow.
It was something fairly generic. Um, that was first one I built. Might have been the Apple House, I think it might have been called. It was just a Creator 3-in-1 set.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of the ones we pulled out of a bulk bin, just reassembled and sold on eBay.
Hmm.
That was
Wait a
the
minute. So,
that good.
wait a minute. So you ended up with a bulk bin of Lego and hadn't built a set?
Yeah.
Like, did you get
Yep.
into Lego through the investing side of it?
Yep.
That's crazy. That's pretty
Yep.
rare. That's pretty rare. Most of the people I talk to, myself included, started as fans and then realized, oh, hey, I can make money with this.
Yeah, it's I started exactly the opposite way.
Huh.
You know, I heard that there was money in it, and I like money. And what I didn't realize was exactly how much fun would be involved and what this community was like.
Hmm.
And on both sides, on the investing side and, just collectors, hobbyists, whatever. There are so many great people in the community that I just completely get sucked in.
Yeah.
And,
No, there's so many sides of it. Like there's the investors, the brick linkers. There's Coconut Brick Studios is one of my favorite Star Wars mock builders. You know him?
yep. Yeah, I just met him on a stream the other day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he does amazing stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
NP
NP, same
NP
thing.
Bazaar. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, coconut's great.
yeah. I mean, you have your review people. You have your like Jang Brick types, Jang's Bricks with
Yep.
his whole city in the basement.
Yep.
Um, you have like the Brick World, people making hundreds of thousands of parts mocks, on that are 6 feet by 6 feet by 4 feet tall. Like there's so many different. You have your minifig collectors. You have everybody.
Yep. Yep. And man, they are each so passionate about their very specific thing.
Yeah,
It's wild. I mean, most of them are great about, it's not talking trash about people and other interests. But there are some people, it's like, oh my God, that's what you're doing. It's so funny.
yeah. I just I've never had that outlook. Like I've never. How proud must you be to honestly believe that your way of enjoying a hobby is the only way or the best way?
Yeah.
It just come on,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. We were talking last week on the show. Moments of the Magic was on, and was saying that segment that I want to have is sad comments. So when, a new Star Wars set gets revealed, it's all of the people crying in the comments. I want to just pick the worst of the group and throw it out on screen and have a good laugh about it. Like we're adults talking about a children's toy is,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's sorry, it is, let's lighten up about it a little bit.
Yeah,
Sure, they're,
right.
they're expensive. We want a good product. We don't want bags missing or, directions that are wrong, things like that. Quality control is going to be important. But it's like, oh my God, it's how could they do this to us? They owed us that fifth minifigure. I can't believe it's missing. And come on, man. They're going to
Well,
reveal a set in 3 days that has the figure you're talking about,
I see. Yeah. I'd say, just maybe to be controversial, respectfully disagree on things like should the fifth minifigure have been in there? Like, okay, we could debate that. On something like the colors don't match on my bricks,
Yep. Yep. That's a problem.
or to me they're different, or literally on the droid carrier GWP from last year. The did you know about that? The render on the box. The
Which one?
so
Where it makes it look like you're getting,
on
yes.
the back of the box, he's missing his legs.
Oh, I didn't know
Weird.
that one.
Really? Yeah. I know. And this is like,
That's amazing.
yeah, they all went out like this. So this is the end of the world. No, obviously not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the quality has slipped, and I think it is concerning, especially since they're raising prices again.
Yeah. So just the other day, Austin from Ostif's Bricks was doing a 24-hour community live stream. It was a fundraiser for St. Jude's. And without going through the whole story, he bought Slave One. It was very important to him. His dad had passed away of cancer, and it was a big thing for the two of them. So
Mm,
he was going to start the stream with a build of Slave One. First UCS set he's ever bought. He opens
wow.
the thing up, finds out he's missing bag sticks. The very beginning of a 24-hour live stream. My heart broke for the kid. It's
Yeah.
He is a great quality person, and it's like this big major event for him with it's like a heartbreaking story mixed in, and it's come on Lego.
Yeah.
It's just, man, how could you do that? And then
It
turns out it's a known issue.
a lot like it. He's not the only one.
No, no,
Wow. They are
yeah,
slipping. I do have to say. Um, the only like mistake that I can remember, talk about my golden years of Lego Star Wars. It was the 2009 or 8, I think 9 Venator, the chunky play scale Venator.
yeah,
I got it's like a 2x2 wedge, symmetrical wedge plate. It's supposed to be dark bluish gray, and I got one that was dark green. And as a kid, like 13-year-old me or whatever was like, hey, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be. And I guess I could have, contacted support. I didn't. I just replaced it out of my own collection. But um, it used to be like so rare to find a mistake like that. Maybe it's a small sample size bias with me, but nowadays it's like everywhere on the internet. I'm missing sticker sheet, or I'm missing an entire bag, or just it's slipping. It's slipping. It is concerning.
yeah. We built Nightmare Before Christmas. It
Mm.
was like a date night thing for my wife and I, and that was cool because separate instruction booklets, separate little builds in there. It was fun. Jack Skellington's waist cape was missing. It's like, come on, man. It's like, of all things, it's miss a couple plates, whatever. Not a couple, but miss a plate or something. I can handle replacing that.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be missing like the one thing I can't replace? They were good. They sent me a new one, so it was fine. But come on. Why
Yeah.
that?
It's it's the simultaneous. quality control drop and the price increase, it kind of leaves a bad taste in
Yep.
people's mouth.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden we get Mattel Brick Shop Hot Wheels sets. It's like, oh, those are looking pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I know
I'm
for
gonna
the
stay away from those, but we'll see.
sure. I know we were talking about all the different sects in the community. There's modular people. There's a ton of modular people. I guess
Yep.
the modular people are starting to go for the alternatives.
Yep. Yeah, Funhole puts out a good product,
Who does?
and they're cheap. Funhole.
Oh.
It's like the worst name ever, but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess the idea being like a whole lot of fun. It was a poor translation from whatever the actual
Mm.
name of the company is. That's what I heard. But it, they're really solid looking sets. The minifigures are weird. No stickers. Everything's printed, and they come with light kits,
Wow.
and they're cheap. The modulars are $120 or something, and they actually go on sale. So, yeah,
Hard not to love it.
yep, yeah. I mean, I won't have them in the house. The last thing I need to do is get an off-brand brick in one of my drawers. That would just be catastrophic for me.
Yeah, that would multiply and then you'd start getting complaints.
Yep, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't have that. The Hot Wheels ones, those look really good.
I
Have
haven't
you had
seen
a
them.
chance to take a look at those? No.
No, I haven't seen them. I'm kind of I guess you could say a Lego purist.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think they just came out May 1st, if I
Okay.
remember right. And what's his name? I always say it wrong. Sam Suxbury, I think is how you say it. He's Sam Builds. Um, he's on YouTube. He's worth checking out. He's a Lego master builder, and he does commission work and all kinds of crazy things. And one of his kind of sticks on the internet is you send him like a torn off label from a box and a super discolored broken piece, and he'll identify the set for you from like garbage. He's unbelievable.
Oh, I think I saw I may have seen his Instagram, or if not him, I saw someone similar. The whole thing was like ID my bricks.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
he's really good. So he was at the last Toy Expo when they unveiled the Mattel bricks there, the Hot Wheels ones. And the way he explained it is Lego is Lego. It's a building system. Like, great, you can buy a set, but at the end of the day, you could tear apart everything you owned, put it in a bucket, and just build whatever you want out of anything.
mhm.
With the Hot Wheel stuff, there are, a million custom pieces built in there. And you are not going to take this car and that car, rip them apart, and combine them into something. They're essentially model kits. That, yes,
Yeah,
some of the pieces work with other things, but that's not the intent of the design. So it does seem like it's potentially a different market. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of overlap. It'll beat up Speed Champs a little bit,
hmm.
but at the end of the day, it is a separate product so far.
I mean, I'm all for Lego competition. I may not buy them myself, but um, Lego, we got to hold them accountable. Like the market,
Yep.
we need competition in the market to force them to get their act together. Otherwise, they're just gonna um, continue to enshitify and just extract maximum profits out of their captive audience.
Yeah. Well, I think that's exactly what we've seen happen, right? Quality control goes down,
Hmm.
prices go up. They have a chokehold on the market. There's one or two off brands starting to sneak into Walmart. You see here and there, but you still have the Lego aisle, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a
And
good
then
point. It is a whole aisle or two.
yeah, yeah, depending on the size of the store, if they have the real estate for it, it's there is no other brand that has that much toy department real estate. Hasbro and Mattel, and I think there's was it Jack Specific or whatever.
I don't
It,
know it.
there's yeah, there's a handful of companies that share like the action figure aisle and like the cars, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Lego is just like the building toy aisle. There's just that. I think Playmobil's gone. I haven't seen that in ages.
I've
And
seen him. I've seen him a little bit.
yeah, and then you got, Mega, but Pokemon's going to be gone.
Is it?
Obviously, you've heard that. Oh, you didn't hear that?
So I knew that
Oh my word.
they were making Pokemon. So now that Lego's doing Pokemon, that means they got the license
Yep. Yep.
and
Legos.
it's an exclusive
They
license.
yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because the announcement that the whatever it is there, Mattel, their brick shop, it was like, hey, here comes Mattel Brick Shop. Oh, here comes Pokemon to Lego. It was like one right after the other. I forget which direction, but it was like right then.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is going to be interesting. So,
I really don't. I'm not a Pokemon person. I never had the cards. I never played the games. I have very little Pokemon knowledge. I just know
yeah,
the. I've been reading the news stories about all the crazy reselling and all the whatever fist
yeah,
fights and stuff. But that could be money. However, at the same time, people said that about Lego Mario, and those playsets ended up being a bust.
yeah, because we didn't get minifigures, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if Mario Kart will help that theme. The price points are a little weird. I'm still not super crazy about them, but at least there's something that you can display and actually display. The Mario Builder course thing. What are you doing with those? I don't know. I mean,
it's not a bad idea in its own right. Like every few years, Lego likes to try an electronic interaction, and it never works, and then they shelve it, and
yep,
then try it again a few years later, and it never works again. Rinse and repeat. But why did they have to do that with Mario, man?
yep,
Like, and then why did they do that with Mario, but then do Sonic playsets?
yep. Yeah, that made no sense. I mean, I would imagine it has a lot to do with the licensing somehow. Uh, I forget what brand it is, but there is a toy brand that does Lego, Mario, like miniature figures, I guess is the way to
Hmm.
put that. They're not minifigures. They're just very small scale Mario characters, very slightly larger. They're basically the size of a Playmobil
Okay.
character, like the larger figures there. Maybe they didn't want there to be competition between two brands, like too much overlap. I don't really know. They're never
Yeah.
going to tell us either, right?
Right. Could be. I guess I know kind of remarkably little about the toy industry. Uh, I'm kind of a I'm niched into my niche of my niche, which is like Lego Star
Yep.
Wars investing. Okay, not just Star Wars, but um, yeah, I mess with Speed Champions. I'm kind of a gearhead a little bit, so I have like a little bit of car knowledge. But then when it comes to F1 or racing, like I really don't know anything about that. I just know street cars.
Yep.
So they've
In
gone
Star
so
Wars,
wide with
but
it.
not dioramas.
Never a dioramas. I will die on my hill. It was a bad idea. Um, I think Lego's growing wise to it. What they only put out last year, just the Mos Espa Pod race, right?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
this year, have they released any? I don't think so.
No, they brought back the helmets.
Yeah, right, because
Yep.
they actually sell.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's so. I actually thought the dioramas were going to have a good shot. The first wave.
the first three.
Yep. So it seemed like, they checked a lot of boxes. We had an exclusive. There were some exclusive figures here and there. We'd never seen anything like it. They I mean, the quality of them mostly looked pretty good, but
Yeah,
nobody wanted them, and they were overproduced. They were wildly overproduced. And if you see them on a shelf behind somebody, like on Instagram, where you get the big wide wall of white shelves, and if you pause it, you can identify every set on every shelf as you look through. But
yeah,
the dioramas, unless you're like a real Star Wars fan, no idea what they are. You can't identify them at all.
they're too small, and this is
Yeah.
like Lego's general trend toward smaller parts and higher part counts, right?
Mhm.
Like if you look at we were talking about the clone turbo tank from 2005. That's like 800 parts for this tank that's like 14 inches long or something. Um, and I mean, okay, we don't have a new clone turbo tank, except maybe we do for 2025. We're not sure. Is it an MTT?
Yeah.
Is it a UTAT? What is it? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. They're going for many more smaller parts, and it is like objectively more accurate to screen, and you can pack more detail in, but at what cost? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I never liked the dioramas. I know it's like hindsight is helping me, but I I'd like to say I knew from the start that they wouldn't they wouldn't perform or be very well liked.
Yeah. Well, you earned a pat on the back for that one. Because I don't know. I mean, I didn't think the trench run was going to do well because, as the ACOB boys say, no figgy, no buy.
Yeah,
It's
I've seen that.
yeah. So yes, I agree. I can see where that's a problem, especially with Star Wars stuff. Helmets being the exception there, because you can understand why they're not there. It'd be cool to have them, but it's not really necessary. Anything
Yeah,
else, it seems weird.
I mean the helmets even kind of suffer from the same thing as the dioramas, which is high price and small size. I think when you're done building a
Yeah.
helmet, you're like, I don't actually know because I've not built any helmets.
Yeah.
Is that scandalous? I don't know.
I don't
I've
think so
sold a
either.
lot.
Yep. Yeah, I I feel like the helmets, somebody needs to start building bodies for them. Like just a slightly oversized brick head with a helmet on it, it would look like a bobblehead and it would be
Oh yeah.
hysterical. I think that would be great. Because they are very small. I mean, the size of a fist or so, somewhere in there. For 80
Yeah.
bucks. That's a lot. Or,
Yeah.
it's 250, 300, depending on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Wild.
TIE fighter.
But yeah.
Well, the helmets, I mean, I said this on my podcast. They're everyone's favorite characters, like the Vader helmet, the Boba Fett helmet, the Stormtrooper helmet. These are like they appeal to not just the like center of the nerdy Lego Star Wars hobby. And I think we kind of tend to focus on the most hardcore fans, forgetting that like they're the loudest subgroup within the fandom, and for all the Star Wars nerds there's like 5 times as many people who are like, oh yeah, I saw the movie once, or like I know who Darth Vader is. um so it can be kind of an echo chamber.
Yeah. And there's always that, like the one dad who took the kid to see the movie and like they bonded over whatever character and be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna get you this.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna get him a Bo-Katan helmet because who the hell is that?
Yeah,
You know?
or like the Death Star. Okay, A New Hope is my background is in like film. I got a film degree in school. um
Cool.
So I will go to bat for A New Hope. It's the best Star Wars movie. It's a self-contained narrative, right? They didn't know if it would succeed. In fact, the studio really thought it wouldn't. It's kind of a surprise that it was such a smash hit. So it's like it's a whole story, right? Beginning to end. And if it had ended as the Death Star blew up, hooray, like that would be it. You don't really need a sequel. Then, of course, it was so popular that we got all the sequels and prequels and shows and all the subsequent everything. But A New Hope is like it's it, and the trench run is like the climax of the best Star Wars movie, and the diorama
Yeah.
has no appeal at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's put that on a shelf at about this height, like just over rim height, and stand, 10 feet back. You'll have no idea what's even on that shelf.
Yeah.
It's a sad situation.
On the
If
okay, go ahead.
it's on a desk, it looks great though.
I wouldn't know. I haven't built any. I was going to say on the flip side, botanicals. I had some people over at our apartment the other day, and we were talking about houseplants, flowers, and kind of looking around the living room. And my guests were like, "Oh, I didn't even realize that those are Lego flowers. Like they just look so good. I have them in a not really a vase. It's just like a travel cup, basically like a steel heavy
Yep.
cup, so they don't tip over. It's the $50. I think it's the very first botanical flower bouquet
Yep.
that I have built. Got it as part of a bulk lot, and I was like, well, I could sell these for $20 or I could enjoy them.
Yep.
So I'm enjoying them. And so, yeah, by contrast, those grab your eye across the room. You might not even realize if you're not a Lego fan that they're Lego. And I think it shows in the sales.
Yep, for sure.
Like
So
every
if you
Q4. Well, yeah,
it's
every
Jim,
Q4 they go crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
well, Jim has mentioned a couple times that if you are on Amazon and you look up, if you search dried flower arrangements, like 8 of the top 10 results are Lego.
Really?
Yep. It's those are not made for Lego fans. Those are made
Yeah.
for that crowd,
Yeah.
and
And
they spend money.
could those be, is Lego banking on those being those botanicals being a gateway drug for adults to get into other adult oriented themes like ideas, creator expert?
I don't know. It's I mean, sure, that's going to happen because people will enjoy the experience and they'll say, okay, well, what else does this brand make? I'm sure that happens. I don't, I don't think your average, it's stray botanicals buyer looks at the Lego catalog and says, okay, well, this was great. I'm going to buy an Eiffel Tower and then I'm going to buy a rabbit and, anything like that. It seems hard for the other themes to translate to that group, but I don't think it matters because there's whatever 25 botanical sets on the market.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I'm probably overshooting that by a bit, but there's a fair amount out there.
Not by much anymore. After I really like the recent round of like $30, the plum blossom,
Yep,
and what's the other one? I think it's a $100 new leek, the Japanese maple.
yep,
Is that 80 or
yep.
100, something like that? Looks really
Yeah,
good.
somewhere in there. And then didn't they do the one I can't pronounce?
Chrysanthemum.
Yep, there you go.
That's a
Beautiful.
$30 one. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, you know what? I had a thought too. We're spilling some juicy investing insights tonight on the show. The kingfisher. I don't know if that's retiring this year, but the whole fauna sub theme of icons to go along with botanicals. So there's the insects, the $80 insect
That makes
collection. You
sense.
have the kingfisher. There's a couple other birds or animals there, not creator expert, but icons that I
Yep.
think maybe
Yeah, that's a good
they're going
point.
after the same demographic.
Hmm. Yeah,
It could
that
also
makes
be my
sense.
own. It could also be my own bias because my sister recently got really into birding and birds. I don't know if that's like a broader trend or if it's just literally the one person, but something to think about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were a lot of bird sets for a little while there.
Yeah, like three
Um,
or four.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we had the bird's nest and the bird's house and the bird art and kingfisher and what was the other one? As I look across the room and I see the little creator parrot. Um, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I was talking about the baby parrot, but yeah, there was the pink parrot and the blue parrot. Blue parrot's still around. So yeah,
retiring,
there was a pretty good
I think.
bird craze there. Is that still retiring? I haven't checked on that one.
I haven't looked.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of hope for that one. So
Really?
the blue one?
No?
No, that's if it retires this year, that's 2.5 years of shelf life, I think, somewhere in there. It's been a minimum of 20% off since it's like third month released. We've seen 30% off a few times. So widely available. But, it's I guess you also have the fact that, there's been months where it's moved, 5 to 10,000 units. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So
Will
there's
you
kind of
double
the,
up on it? Maybe not.
yeah. I think about it, there's like competing thought processes. One is, um, has all the demand been served by Lego Direct, and is there any demand left over for the aftermarket on a set that's been around for so many years? I do wonder that. On the other hand, you have things like botanicals that are just selling so much to casuals or people who've never built Lego before that I kind of imagine there's no bottom to that. Like
Yep.
Lego may keep those first botanicals around for 10 years, and I think they'll still be selling 10,000 units a month in their 120th month of shelf life.
Yep.
And if that's the case, why, if you were Lego, why would you retire that?
Yep. Well, the Green Dinosaur, right? The
Yeah,
creator set.
yeah,
It's 8 years now. Does that sound right?
yeah.
Yeah. And why would they ever retire that at this point?
If they want to have a
Unless
new
they're
one
just
come out.
gonna, yeah. But that's basically it. They pulled that one down and they put a very slight variant back on the shelf just to spice it up a little bit.
And then you got to imagine for the casuals, for say the grandmas buying Christmas gifts for little Timmy who likes dinosaurs. They go on Amazon, they type Lego dinosaur. If they have a new $15 Lego dinosaur that's probably not green, I don't know what color it'd be, red maybe,
Yeah.
brown. I don't. What color are dinosaurs? We don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
if Grandma sees the 2026 Creator 3-in-1 dinosaur, whatever it is, for $12 on sale, and she sees the Mighty Dinos green from 2017 for 25 or $30, which is she going to go for? Is it like, well, little Timmy wants the, how badly does he want the green dino? And so I don't really see it.
Yeah. I do wonder about stuff like that. So my rule has been anything. I love the cheap sets. I love them. And at Christmas time, anything $45 under is granny money.
Yep.
Is just how I look at it.
Yep.
Because the kid asks for this, they search for that one specific thing, they find that one specific thing, they don't look any further, they hit the button and then they walk away. So if you can find something that's got good sales velocity and you can get it for, the right price, obviously you got to do the math there.
Yeah.
It's very easy to turn 100% ROI on those
Oh yeah.
if
Or more.
if you get the right factors. Yeah, and I'm I'm not afraid to move 10 times as many units on something that's safe versus, spending the same money on, let's say whatever, you buy $100 sets for 65. There there's more that can go wrong there.
Hmm.
They have to be part of your portfolio anyway. But, it's the small ones. Okay, you're packing more boxes. Fine. I
Yeah.
like the FBM route. Well, I did. Not anymore. Stupid
Did you
dinosaur.
get, you got deplatformed as well?
Yep,
Yeah.
December 4th. Yep,
Oh man, I don't know the date. I think I was November, but yeah, happened to me too.
yep. Immediately after a live stream where we had just finished talking about it, I get the
Oh
email.
no. Oh
Yep,
no.
I was pissed.
Um,
Yeah.
you don't have to answer if you don't want, but um, how much volume were you pushing through Amazon? I'll volunteer. I signed up in 2024 and did about 15,000 gross sales and then got banned like end of November.
We finished out at 98.7 for the year.
Oh, geez. So darn
Just
close
the
to
one
six
brand.
figures.
Yeah, just the one brand.
And you still got regated. Wow.
Yeah. And no seller issues. My health was fine. The only thing I can think is because, it's Q3, especially at the beginning, it's the focus isn't selling at that point.
Yeah.
It's sure you get some things listed, that better days are coming, so you dial things back, your volume goes way down. Usually at that time of year, I'm turning my attention to eBay to get all of that set. So eBay can be on autopilot for Q4. And then
Hmm.
you can turn attention back to Amazon and let eBay do its thing. Because for the longest time on eBay, we were selling rebuilt used sets, which takes a lot more labor. So, you go find all the pieces, get everything together, assemble it, take the pictures,
Yeah.
deconstruct it, get the whole thing listed. We would spend a lot of Q3 doing that. And that way we could just post it and all we had to do was ship for eBay.
Yeah.
So we had a pretty good cycle down. We've been doing it for a few years now. I'm guessing it's because the volume prior to all of that had dropped. We were one of like the little sellers. Maybe.
Just for
Maybe.
Q3, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, we had we probably had 6 or 7 very slow weeks. And prior to that, there was probably another 6 or 7 that just weren't very good
Hmm.
because it's the time of year. So, I mean, all in, it was probably a full quarter of just
Sure.
trash sales
But
because
do we even know that that's the common factor among those that got regated?
I think so. I mean, talked to a lot of people and asked a lot of questions at this point, and it seems like everybody that got shut out was lower volume or
Hmm.
a consistent period of time. Trying to nail down what that window was that they cared about is the
Hmm.
hard part. It's you don't know if it's Q3 or if it's just like the last 2 weeks of Q3 or no idea.
Yeah.
But I was a little disappointed.
I was
Uh,
too. I mean, I had just gotten set up on Amazon in I don't even really remember. I think April or May. I made the first month I really made sales was May. It was like a few $1,000 in May. Um, but it did seem like a lot of kind of people got wise to the game of how to get ungated on Amazon, and I imagine there were a lot of smaller sellers like myself joining, and I guess they changed their mind. It just seems weird to welcome new sellers and then 6 months later, like hard regate.
yeah,
I mean, it is
yeah.
what it is, right?
There was I can see a lot of problems there. Recently, it was I want to remember which one it was. I have to go back through my DMs and look. There's there was a specific set that was on Amazon for like $5 above retail. It's 5 months after retirement. And I think it might have been a GWP. I think that's what it was. And the lowest price seller had 150 units. The 150 units of a GWP is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So I went and looked them up, and they are an LLC registered in Oregon. and the LLC registration name is Fa Wang, which kind of gave me pause a little bit. I mean, and I don't know what that means, if that's a name or if that's actually two words that I can't translate. I don't know.
Hmm.
But if you're going to register an LLC, there's three prime states to do it in. And you can do that as an international person, whatever, that kind of thing. So I see that and I wonder, hmm, are these 150 units of this GWP legit?
Are they fake?
Yeah, I'm
Are
wondering.
they Timu?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and there are so many real good quality fakes out there these days. I don't know. I mean, are they stolen? Or maybe, or maybe they're just a consignment shop because that's a thing too. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Or it's a super seller that sources from its team of buyers, or
yep,
if you have
yep,
15,
that's the thing
15
too.
buyers and they each get 10 GWPs, well, there's your 150.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and that's possible too.
Hard to
And
say.
we've toyed around with the idea of doing something like that in the future. You know, actually starting a buying group of sorts.
Hmm.
So, and you don't really know. And I don't want to go accusing anybody of anything. But you see things like that and it gets the wheels turning and it's like, okay, how many times have you've gone on and you've looked at a Keepa chart or, Camel 3X or whatever, and you've seen half a dozen people listed below retail. That's bad for the industry.
Yeah.
That makes Walmart mad. That makes Target mad. That makes Amazon look bad. It makes Lego look really bad.
Hmm.
It's how is this, a Joe Schmo from friggin' nowhere selling, new items for half of what we're selling it. It makes everybody look bad.
Yeah. I can't really comment on that. On the Amazon sellers kind of running suspiciously low margins, we'll say. But I do see a lot. I live in Chicago. Um, it's true. There is crime in Chicago. And I look on Facebook Marketplace and I'll see like new releases for half off. I'm like, oh, that's for sure stolen.
Yep. So how many have you bought? Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Yeah, nice
This is
try,
being
FBI.
recorded.
No, none. No, no, no.
And say you could
Um,
ship me some, but shipping is expensive. Cuts some needy
on
margins.
Yeah, on the down low. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have bought a few sealed sets on Marketplace, but they were legit. It's from like a known guy in the Chicago Lego selling community.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a couple of those here that they're basically just employees who, every week, they buy two with their paycheck with the employee discount. And, make $5 a set or something just for a little something here and there.
Oh, you mean Lego employees?
No, Target employees.
Oh, Okay, yeah, because I know Lego is like they frown on that really hard.
Oh no, no. Yeah, people lose their jobs over that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's too much risk.
yeah. When I was a kid, I always thought my dream job would be to go to work as a Lego designer. How cool! And then got a little older. Math wasn't really my strong suit, so engineering kind of started to drift out of reach for me. And then my first year at college, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, so I took a kind of a little bit of everything. I took pre-calculus, worked my butt off. Never worked so hard in a college class. Got a C. I was like, okay,
Oh man.
college math is not going to be for me. Engineering, I'm going to disappoint my aunts and uncles and cousins who all wanted me to do that. Uh, Not for me. The irony is partly because of Lego and e-commerce, I'm like wicked good at arithmetic, basic multiplication, percentages, all the math you would need to run a Lego business. Um,
Yeah.
so that's good at least.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah,
I find safety in math. I'm not doing any high end stuff. Just I work in construction, so
sure.
I and anything under 25 feet, I could
Yeah,
tell. I can count inches. I'm good with fractions, you know.
yeah,
But numbers are my safety net because numbers don't change. Science changes, history changes. We get new info, whatever that kind of thing.
hmm
Everything changes. Math is a constant.
yeah. Until you get to the really, really high out there math where it starts to kind of become philosophy.
Yeah, I don't. That's that's not real to me. I can't even acknowledge that. Numbers can't be a hypothetical. It's
Yeah, or you get
I,
like
I-
quantum. Yeah, that's too far out for me.
yeah, yeah. It's that belongs in a book. I've read a lot of Isaac Asimov as a kid. Yeah, yeah. That's crazy talk. But yeah, it's calculating. Your margins, figuring out ROI, whatnot. That
Yeah,
that's the good math.
yeah, totally. Um, I've kind of been revamping my Lego business, which is kind of ironic at the time because I lost all my inventory, right? But I'm kind of right sizing it. I'm finally getting QuickBooks. I'm getting those integrations so that my accounting populates automatically instead of me
Nice.
manually, doing the Excel spreadsheet. So I'm excited about that, and it's going to be a good foundation for the future. One day I would love to do, as you said, close to six figures gross sales on one platform.
Yep. It's it's funny because starting off, I thought that was a big deal. And then I learned that you just add a zero to every order and it just happens. Right?
Yeah, meaning number of orders or order value.
Yes. Yes. I mean, like early on, it's like at Walmart, you can pump your card up. It, fairly standard, you can get it to 12 easy, right?
Mhm.
So it's you order one or two and you get comfortable. You get way more comfortable in your math and your research and everything. It's like, okay, well, I was ordering, two. Now I'll do two orders of 10.
Yeah,
So you just 10x that instead of having $10,000 in sales. Now you get $100,000 in sales. It's if your research is good and you really trust your work, then you feel comfortable enough to dial it up.
yeah. I mean, I have yet to cross that rainbow bridge. I hope to. I hope to sometime soon. I guess the part that makes me nervous is the liquidity in the market for a particular set. Like, how much demand is there to absorb this supply? If I'm going to go most sets, if I'm going deep, I'm not the only one going deep.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder, like, okay, what's the sales velocity? How do I anticipate that changing as price goes up? Um, and I do start to worry about like the ability of customers to absorb all the supply.
Yeah, it's sometimes you get curveballs there. And if you plan on waiting more than one Q4 past retirement, which I think is generally, I think it's good to plan for that. So, it retires January 31st. Next, the following Q4, you're comfortable waiting past that while everybody tanks their price because it's the first Q4 and they're tired of waiting. And then you get that little everybody sells out, during gift card season, right around there. That's great. If you wait, well, I mean, this year is a strange year. So maybe the rules are changing this year. I don't know.
Yeah,
But if you can get
macroeconomic
past,
stuff.
yeah, if you can go 18 months or so post retirement, there can be a little sweet spot in there. The problem, though, is when you get into that long of a hold time, now you've drawn a target on your back for re-releases and things like that. So
Yep. Well, and selling mid-year, you may get better prices, but of course there's less volume.
yep, yep, there's less demand. The other perk there, though, is selling fees are lower than selling during Q4, which is also
Hmm.
nice. If you're in the FBA side of things, or I don't know, whatever Walmart calls their version, uh, storage fees are a lot lower the other 3 quarters. So
Yeah.
factor that into. So I, the way I've always done it is I set my key, I buy, I figure out, what my intended sell price is going to be. Figure out your sell price before you even purchase anything.
Very wise right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you
More
have to
more
know what you're
people
going
ought
to
to
sell
do
for.
that.
Yeah. So say, okay, well, I plan to sell this for $72. I think that's the right spot for this set. I set my keeper alert for like 70 or so, just a little bit below my target. The alert goes off, like, okay, well, now it's time to buy. I find it and figure out where the hell I stored the stuff. I dig out the boxes,
Time to
and
sell.
then
Time to sell. Yeah.
yeah, 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 and then it's time to sell. Now it's a little bit easier in our Brick Dynasty app. We have a section in our own personal inventory list where tell it what your buy cost is, and there's a little icon it'll say the current buy box is 3.4 times your buy cost, or the buy box is 3.4 times your buy cost. Be like, oh, well, there's my little green arrow. Now it's time to start paying attention.
Yeah. Whereas if it says
So
it's
that's
1.5, it's like, well, after fees, I won't really make much.
yep, yep, exactly. And
Oh,
we're going to be trying to do basically the keep alert style notifications inside the app at some point. But I get too many irons in the fire, so we'll get to that at some point.
yeah.
But yeah, it's
Cool.
I try not to be the guy that every month it's like, oh, how is this performing? Oh, how is this performing? It's like I can't, because it gives me anxiety, right? It's a complete time suck. This is a part-time gig. When you wait for the notifications, or you do a 6-month cycle, because you got to make sure that things aren't just completely bombing, right? It makes life so much easier. And you feel it like, okay, well, perfect. Here's my notification. Looks like things are going ahead of schedule. This is fast. I can send out 50 units, list those for sale.
Hmm.
I think there's going to be a little bit more growth. I'll only list 50. I'll let those go. I'll let the next batch go. And growth gets a lot easier that way.
Yeah. I think like systemizing the business is really important as you scale. And with my content, it's kind of hard because think of I kind of have to appeal to like the casuals, the first time viewers, and also the
Yeah.
seasoned veterans. So it's like picture the biggest newbie Lego investor. Maybe it's like some kid or a teenager or something. Like I'm just learning about investing and I have $100. Like what should I buy? Like I'm making content for that person. At the same time, the same content I'm making needs to appeal, I think, or should appeal ideally to a seasoned person doing it 10 years, doing 6 figures gross sales a year, which is actually more than I'm done. So it's like, how do you service those two very different demographics?
I think if you help the people on the lower end of that scale, it's the very beginners, it's the people, creeping in low 5 figures in there. If you can help them do a good job, then you're doing a major service to everybody above that as well.
Yeah.
Better sellers help everybody.
Hmm. That's a quote right there. Clip that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's true. It's because half of the challenge and why we don't see the growth is because people over leverage, or it's people expect too fast of a turnaround. So they sell too low. It's like, oh, I heard Q4 is going to be this wonderful thing. Well, now it's October 5th and I'm not out of inventory, and prices haven't tripled. Well, really, Q4 is like 13 days, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so you get more or less 2 weeks that Q4 actually is. If you're 2 or 3 weeks into October and you haven't hit your price points and you're already starting to lower your prices, your community is almost as much to blame as you are,
Hmm.
because you haven't been taught these things. People come into these groups and they're paying, 35 to $70 a month. It's a pretty good range out there. If your community is not teaching you these things, then they're screwing you over, and they're screwing themselves,
Yeah.
because
Leaving.
yeah, now there's a whole army of terrible sellers out there. And it's like, I want the price to grow so I can sell. Yeah, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. So something I was thinking about today, also, is the like comment wise. Say, for example, in my comment section, or anyone who makes investing contents, the comment section, like I don't know what exactly the distribution is of seller size across the population, but I'd be willing to bet probably half the commenters are like very novice, couple $1,000 a year maybe. They're part-timers, they do investing as a hobby, maybe out of a closet. They're not renting storage units. They're not looking to scale up. They don't have an LLC. They don't know what an LLC is. Or, you know, like the loudest voices in the room, like, well, I think this is overlooked or this set is underlooked. They're buying 1 unit or 8 units or something.
Yeah,
And it's a couple of individuals, the super sellers, right, who are really moving the market, buying 1,000 units or 100 units. And either they're not commenting or it's just a handful of people. And like really those are the guys moving the market. So the perception in the community of like, well, this set is overhyped or this set is whatever, anything is like maybe not necessarily reflective of the actual market.
yeah, it is tough to read that stuff, and I I love the sellers that are doing 15 grand a year.
That's
Like,
me.
yeah, I mean, I wish more people would target that and like make that a mission. So you figure, depending on how you work it, say your margins are, if Lego's a little high, so go 30% or so, whatever the quick math is on that. Let's call it a third, easier math. So it's an extra 5 grand a year or something. That's awesome. You figure that pays for all of your subscription services for the whole year.
Sure.
Cool.
It's a
It's
it's an extra month's paycheck. If I'm making 60
yeah.
grand a year, say, well, now 65.
Yep. Yep. And that's a big help to a lot of people. That extra 5 grand, that's a vacation they wouldn't have had otherwise. And 5 grand, it depending on how your taste runs, you get a pretty good vacation for 5 grand.
Yeah.
It's I wish everybody could find a side hustle that would give them that.
Yeah. This
I
is
think
kind of the
I think
best
this
one.
is yeah. I mean, it's with proper care and attention. I feel that this is one of the safest ones. And it's proper care and attention matters.
Yeah.
But I think it does with anything.
Yeah.
And this is a hell of a lot more fun than selling socks, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think understanding like not to give advice. This is advice and it's not financial advice. So I'll give it. Understand your own motivation for doing this. If
Right.
it's just to make money, if it's to enjoy yourself, if it's some blend, if it's some other factor, um, consciously ask yourself, why am I doing this? What are my goals? If I could wave my magic wand and go wherever I want, where would I want to be? For me, that's, I would like to do this full time, or I would say um, to have 6 figures profit per year. And I think it's even possible to do this and not have it take up 40 hours a week, at least year round, which is like the most appealing thing as a young person looking at careers. And it's like, well, you could work a job, you could climb the ladder, you know, what still exists of it, and rent your time out by the hour or by the pay period, or you could build something scalable. And so that's colorful and fun and that I love. So
Yep.
to me, I'd rather build something scalable and be my own boss.
Yeah. It's a tricky business. So that is my goal, is to be full time in Lego at some point. And God, we've been talking about it for the last year and a half. It's a big leap. I mean, I'm married with 2 kids. I am the full-time earner here. I've been self-employed for 8 years now, so I don't have the safety net of, it's retirement plans, health insurance, any of that. That's all out of pocket.
Yeah.
So it's a little scary to think about. And you need, I should say, you, the general you, not the specific
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's other other means of Lego related income, whether it's Bricklink or Quick Flips or a Discord group or a YouTube channel, or it's sponsorships. If you
Yeah.
hook up with Light My Bricks or Brick Showcases or something like that, other
Bricks and
Lego related.
minifigs.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, is it next week? I think it's next week. We're having a new Bricks and Minifigs owner on with us. That'll be cool.
Oh, that'd be sweet. I'll have to watch that one.
Yep. Yeah, it's his grand opening is the last day of May. So we're gonna
Okay.
have him on right before the store opens. That'd be fun. But
I feel like I'm kind
God,
of late to the party on bricks and minifigs. I just visited the Pasadena, California one, um,
cool.
on South Lake Avenue. Which, if you know Brickmaster Harry,
Yep.
yeah, he's kind of bouncing between the Pasadena and the couple other ones in SoCal.
Cool.
So anyway, I feel like I'm late to the party, just having had my first visit at Christmas.
I've still never been. We don't have them local.
Hmm.
The
Really?
closest one to me is, what is it, 65, 70 miles away. Yeah. We have, it almost sounds insulting to call them off-brand, but we have very
Independent.
similar. Yes. Okay, thank you. That's
Come
much,
on.
that sounds much better. Well, yeah, we have more independent stores. They're they run by other names. I mean, Boston Brick Co. is out here. Uh, they're very solid. They actually just opened up a second location, so I'm very happy for those guys. They've done well. But I'd like to go into a Bricks and Minifigs just to see how they compare outside of the little box from Instagram.
Yeah.
It's outside of the little carousel feed. How much of a stamp are they really? What's that like?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I spent over an hour in mine, and I think that the Pasadena one was pretty well stocked when I went, but just like looking around, and it was almost when I first came in, I was like asking the employees, I was like, "Can I touch these?" They're like, "Yeah." It's like, I can touch a 10-year retired set and for free and not buy it and just like flip it around in my hands, look at the box. They have used sets. Like it was like Disneyland in there
yeah,
for me. So
yeah.
highly recommend. The prices are,
I'm a
they could be a little high, but just for a visit, highly, highly recommend.
I'm a little afraid. You know, if I go in and my biggest mistake as a Lego reseller and, now collector to an extent, I bought a bulk lot 3, maybe 4 years ago, and it had every set from the entire Power Miners theme in there. The sets were all complete. They were all organized. The manuals were there. We built every one of them, took pictures, disassembled, and sold them, and we made good money. And I regret selling them so bad because now I want them all. I I love the colors. I love the little touch of like horror element in there with the rock monsters.
Hmm.
The play features were fantastic. They were great builds. And it's like, man, what have I done? I'm never gonna get that again.
And they're kind of rare. They weren't
Yeah,
like they're not as common as say Star Wars sets from the same years.
yeah, yeah. Because it was an in-house brand.
Hmm.
It's so there was no collectability there other than like I enjoyed these. I guess I'll hang on to them, but
You kind of have to
it's
pick
not.
and choose what you collect.
Yeah, yeah. We are. My daughter collects Minecraft. I collect things that are either like very nostalgic or lean towards like more darker horror kind of elements. This is my kind of
Okay.
thing.
Hidden side.
I was too late for that, and I'm disappointed there because that was it's my first that retired the end of 21, I think.
I think it was those were like 18, 19, and 20 ish.
Okay. All right. So I guess it was the end of 20 then. So I was brand new at that point. And I think I sold a couple. I have a couple of the ghost dogs kicking around the house somewhere, which I bought just because I thought they were cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really understand those. I thought the tech aspect was weird and it didn't make any sense to me. And at the time I wasn't collecting anything. I was just buying to sell. And now I look back and a couple of those sets were really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
For me, before my dark age, like back into my childhood golden era, I think of Exo Force, which is really
Very
old,
cool.
like
Yep.
the precursor to Ninjago, basically. Kind of a
Yeah.
ninja inspired East Asian aesthetic. Really cool.
So in the Exoforce, the characters, they had like those weird, like, I don't know, rubber kind of hair molds.
Hmm. Like
The
anime hair.
Yes, yep, exactly. The green hair, the green kind of rubber hair
Hmm.
was actually used as lettuce in the vegetable stand of the Market Street modular series.
Yep.
And I thought that was the coolest thing.
That
I
is
love that.
that makes me so happy that you said that because I did already know that. Sorry to steal the
Okay.
thunder, but I'm so glad that someone else knows that. Um, yeah, Market Street. That's I had a Market Street back in the day.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sold it for college money.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah,
sold it for Lego money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was another one that I happened to catch the price of it or what it was selling for. And I had a couple of the more difficult pieces from that set. So I just parted it together from my own collection.
That's
Put that
awesome.
together. I think we got good money for that. It's 350, $400, if I remember right, somewhere in there. Used,
Yeah.
no manual.
Years ago, I don't know why I remember this. For the railing parts, the white hoses on that set. I
Yep.
went to when I was selling mine. I think I was missing one, so I ordered one on Bricklink. It was like $20. I don't know if that got re-released and the price came down, but
Uh, yeah, those are cheaper now. I think I think they were still like $2 or $3 a piece. Those stain really easily.
mhm.
They get discolored. Yeah, dirt gets in the ribs. That was those were a pain. The doors and windows in that were very expensive.
Oh, are those the 5 tall instead of 6?
Well, the actual door panels on those where the flat panel where the actual glass is stuck on with adhesive.
Oh,
Yeah, and you can't find them. I forget if those were black or brown in that set. Whichever color they
I think
were
it's
like
black.
$4 a piece more than the other shade that was manufactured back then.
Wow.
The windows were odd sizes. It's like I almost could have, if I had had a Bricklink store at the time, I probably would have just sold all the parts and saved myself some time. But that was a great build. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's the only modular I've ever built still to this day.
yeah.
Got it in '09 or whenever and sold it in 2015 and made a lot of money. It was kind of a light bulb moment for me. Um, the whole selling a lot of my like '05 to 2010 Star Wars and other themes where I was like, oh, I can sell my birthday presents from my childhood and like make money. And not that I even really knew what MSRPs were. And I was like, wow, I can make 4 times MSRP and I got to build and enjoy it. I'm in.
That's a good deal. Yeah.
So if I had just listened to that light bulb moment in 2015,
You
how
could,
much money I could have made.
yeah, you could have skipped out on a whole career.
Yeah,
But you wouldn't know a lot of the things that you know now from doing that, right?
true. Yeah.
Because as an old guy, most places I go, video editing is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard when you're coming completely out of no. I have CapCut, and that's nice,
Yeah.
but that's its own thing, and that's not a skill set. That's just knowing how to click things and do stupid things.
Well, it's yes and no. It's not professional level, but like you don't need professional level to post on YouTube. Like
Yeah,
CapCut is 90% as good as Premiere or Resolve or Final Cut or anything professional. It's kind of like it's kind of like cars. Like, is your Ferrari really that much better of a car than your Porsche? No, it's maybe 10% better, but
yeah,
it's 10 times the price. So 3 words: diminishing marginal returns.
yeah. It's funny that's how I feel when I see a Bentley going down the street and I'm driving my Econoline van. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna get to the same destination and I'm gonna repair the bathroom when you're complaining it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yours is a tool, theirs is a toy.
yep. Yeah. I'd like a toy. Oh wait, I have a few toys right there. But I
Yeah.
will never have a Bentley. It is what it is.
I
I
mean,
don't want
why
that
would you?
payment anyway.
Yeah, why would you put money into depreciating assets when you can put it into Lego instead?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. I collect clones mostly. I mean, I'd say Lego Star Wars in general, figures. Pro tip, if you're in an apartment like I am, there's no space for sets, just collect figs. It's way easier.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing the wall mount fig display?
I have, but
They're
yeah,
tough.
I haven't sprung for it.
Yeah. It's I'm always shocked by how much more expensive those are than the desk displays. They eat up some wall space too.
I mean, I have wall space. It's floor space that I lack and shelf space.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I've learned that wall space can also decrease your floor space. Because I
Yeah,
mean, well, these things, do you consider that wall space or floor space?
I
Because
would
they're all
say
hung
it's
from the
floor
wall.
space, but they're are they sitting on the floor or they're hung?
Yeah, yeah, they are sitting on the floor, but they're all wall mounted because you don't want kids climbing them like a ladder.
Totally. I mean, I would say if they're eating up square footage out of your living room, I'd say they're floor space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go and you get a big wall mounted display, now you can't put a bookcase there.
Well, how deep is it? Yeah, I guess you're
Well,
right.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but if you put something there, you're still blocking it though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's the nature of collecting. It's a nightmare no matter how you shape it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's why I figure I can buy myself a lot more time and mileage out of my space if I just collect, minifigs
Yep.
instead of. And I'm pretty non ADD about it. Like I don't want my figs to get cracked, but if they do, it's like I don't really care.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I sell all of our minifigures. I want
Okay.
I want the set. I don't care about the minifigure.
Oh, interesting. I'm kind of the opposite.
Yeah. 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 What do you do with a minifigure? Because I am a firm believer that if I have a toy, I'm gonna swoosh it. I like the swooshability of ships. I want to open and close doors in my,
Yeah.
haunted mansion, that kind of thing. I can't play with those minifigures. I can't like physically manipulate the guns in and out of their hands. They pop out, they shoot across the room. I have a feeling in my fingertips, so it makes it real
Mm,
hard. They don't do anything for me. But if you buy the right set, you can get, a third or half of your set value back by selling the figs. It was $100 set. I got a 30% off, and then I sold half of that value in figs. I got a really good deal on a set.
totally. I love
Yeah.
it. Like we're saying, there's different ways to enjoy the hobby, and that's an awesome way to do it. I do the opposite, um, depending.
Yeah.
Like for
But
so
you
they,
also make somebody else happy getting rid of the set that you don't want.
yeah, right. So it's win-win.
Yep. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping whenever I buy, I hate saying the name of the set. Aridur. I
Oh,
feel like
I
no
don't
matter
know.
how you pronounce that, you sound a little stupid.
I'm not a
And
Lord of
I'm
the
just afraid.
Rings person. Barad-dûr, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the set. I read all the books. I think I've seen all the movies. Well, I saw all of the Lord of the Rings movies. I didn't do The Hobbit, but the set is just awesome. And when you collect horror related things, how do you not own that?
Yeah.
But if I can get it 25% off at Barnes and Noble and get $200 for the minifigures, that set becomes pretty cheap.
And true, true. And those Lord of the Rings figures are going crazy. There's such an appetite for those. I'm kind of surprised they haven't
Yeah.
brought back Lego hasn't brought back play sets like they did from about 10 or 12 years ago when they did those play sets. And those figures now are like some of them 30, 50, $80.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, going back to what you said earlier about trusting leaks, uh, we obviously don't know, but it sounds like there's the potential for 3 to 5 sets coming out next year in better price points, 30 to like 150 in that range. So
I,
that
I
could
would
be
love it.
cool. We'll see.
I would love
Uh,
it. I love. I won't say I love because I haven't bought them, and I'm not a Lord of the Rings person. Like I said, I think Rivendell and Barad-dûr and what's the new one?
the Shire.
Okay, those are all really cool. Those are
Yep.
all what's the Shire 300?
I forget what that one ended up being.
It's like
It's somewhere in
roughly,
that range.
yeah, yeah. The cheap you can't get any Lord of the Rings for 300, and then you had your brickheads, of course, at $20 now 40. But
Yep.
like, who really wants brickheads? Like, they're flirting with us. They're making things on the margin, but they're not making what we really want. So if they
Yep.
want to, I'd be all for it.
Yep. Yeah, that would be cool. I feel like every fandom should get their turn.
Yes.
I mean, and it's within reason. You got to skip some weird things. Like I honestly don't care to ever see Taylor Swift in Lego form. I think that's unnecessary. I can see that it would sell more for sure. But I think that would kind of end up like BTS did. You get the initial rush where every, Swifty in the world comes and goes nuts and buys them. And then it goes 50% off and all of the rookie investors buy it. And then it's just permanently on sale forever and ever.
Yeah.
And then nothing ever happens. You know, I'm not giving that enough credit. Taylor Swift would perform better than that. But I still don't think it's the giant moonshot win that everyone would be hoping for.
No. And I mean, thinking of bands or musicians they've done, I know they did the Yellow Submarine
Yep.
Ideas, right? Or
Yes.
I can't remember. I think it was Icons. I can't remember. The Beatles Yellow Submarine.
Yeah. What theme was that? That was a while ago now.
It's like 10 years ago. Yeah. They've done they just did the Pharrell Williams spaceship, Rainbow
Yeah.
spaceship. Like what was that? I there must
Pharrell
have been
Williams.
a brand deal there, some monetary exchange because like that was very odd to me. Why would they make
Yeah.
that?
I think it was actually because Pharrell wanted to make a Lego movie. I think it stemmed from him.
Hmm.
And why not roll the dice on it?
I
If
mean, sure,
you know,
if they want to spend their R&D money and design it and make it, like sure. It's just it's not going to sell that well and I think it's going to have a short shelf life.
yep, yep. It did introduce a whole lot of new minifig head prints, which made a lot of people happy.
Hmm. I haven't looked that closely at it.
Yeah, so I think there was something crazy. It was 30 unique minifig heads in that.
Oh, because it comes with the extra heads.
Yep. Yeah, so you can basically make character that most resembles you to be the person in that spaceship,
Oh, okay.
which is a cool feature. So
It's kind of a gimmick. Like,
yeah, it for sure. But at least they tried something, I guess. I don't know. They did the best they could with the nothing that they had to work with.
sure.
But yeah, it was yeah. So those two BTS, not a band set, but equally as weird and flopped was the Queer Eye set. That
Yeah.
was on discount forever. And where was the market for that?
I'm very familiar with that set. One of the first videos on my channel, I was like, I'm going to make a controversial video. I'm going to advocate for the Queer Eye set and why I think it's going to perform as an investment. And of course, it didn't end up happening that way. However, as a parts pack, really cool set. And there's some
Yep.
great rebrickables, two of which I built. One's a music cafe, and there's a like a church with a clock tower or a bell tower. That's pretty cool. Kind of has this dark red tile, Spanish tile looking roof. It's a really cool looking church. Um, but yeah, that show was like a flash in the pan during COVID, and then the set, or even before, I don't know. No,
No idea.
that show was big, like 20. I don't, I'm going to guess wrong, but I want to say like 17 or 18. It's really old, and the set came out
Yep.
in like 2020 or one,
Yep. Yeah.
and it's like, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. How did that set come out before there was another Simpsons set?
Yeah, yeah.
These are the things I don't understand. Like,
Or if they're gonna make sets for flash in the pan, very trendy Netflix shows, there are so many others. How did we get that before we got The Office,
yep.
which it is
So
not a flash in the pan and it's much more
no,
popular.
there's a show called Troll Hunters on Netflix. It's a Netflix original show. It was, I think it finished out as four series. So it was two seasons, so basically times four different segments there. It was great. It was created by Del Toro from Pan's Labyrinth.
Hmm.
So it's everything about it was great. Visually, it was great. The stories were great. Really, really well done. That should have got Lego sets because there's trolls and there's cool scenes and great machines and all these wonderful things that they could have done. We get a Queer Eye set. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they just need a? I want to say this as cautiously as possible because I really just don't want to offend anyone because that's not my intent here. It's almost like when they put out Everyone is Awesome, they're like, we really want to tell people that we really believe these things. So
Mhm.
here's another set for that crowd. Maybe that was still a little insensitive, but
I
it
don't
like
think so.
it was well intentioned, and I appreciate that they do that. The whole representation thing, especially with the friend sets and city sets, they've worked really hard at that, and I
Mhm.
think that's important. But at the time, they weren't doing any of that. It was like,
Yeah.
here's our first foray into that acceptance thing.
Oh,
But
so Queer Eye came out before Everyone is Awesome.
I want to say they were pretty close to each other.
Yeah, I think so too.
Uh, like I'm fairly certain they were the same year or within 6 months or so. Everyone
Yeah.
is Awesome. It's been around for a long time now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, it's gonna be year 5 anyway. Maybe 6. I don't
Lego
know. I still
exclusive.
buy it. Yeah, I still buy it every time it goes on sale.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't, but if I were at a larger scale, if I put a zero on the end, I totally would.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah, there's clearly a market for it.
yeah, and there is a market every year for it.
Pride
You
Month,
know,
right?
it's yeah, and you can if you get it for the so I should be clear here because this part makes a difference, I guess. I run a cash business. I don't work off of credit card debt, anything like that.
Okay.
I, cash flow is important because I none of my business is fed by anything but my business.
Got it.
Yeah, so my day job doesn't inject capital into the Lego business. It's entirely self-funding.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's important for me to have sets like that that I can sell, it's 5, 10, 15 copies here and there on Marketplace and eBay and whatnot, just to keep cash flow.
Yeah. And not just
So,
cash flow, but profitable cash flow.
yes, yep. Yeah, that stuff is important because you get to slow season and you don't have a whole lot going on. It's like, what? Not only am I not buying new investments, but I am also not paying for any of my software because the software is also funded by the business and it's entirely self-funded. So if I don't
Yeah.
have something selling, something's going to go. It's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
business cannibalizes itself at that point. That gets tough.
That's an interesting point, and I haven't really heard that talked about in the community. I mean, people talk about cash flow and year round, the importance of playing to different holidays to make sure you have roughly year round cash flow. But yeah, a lot of people do use leverage or 0% credit cards. I have in the past,
Yeah.
but I can certainly see the appeal of doing it kind of building the business the slow, steady way, all cash and all without injections of outside cash, just snowballing, just only the snowballing.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have a lot of respect for
It,
that.
it's hard. Last cash injection was an Amazon loan near the end of 2021, I believe. It's been all self-funding since then.
Wow.
And it's hard, which is why we have a Bricklink store. know,
Okay. All right.
which it's what so February, March, April, May. Okay, so this is like our third month on Bricklink. We have 1.5 columns listed so far in some of our hoppers. We have a long way to go.
Yeah.
It's it helps. The margins are phenomenal. It's 300% is no big thing over there, which is nice.
Mm.
But when 300% means, it's your buy cost is, a penny and a half, you know,
Yeah.
it takes some time.
I'm
But
not
you get
saying
the
it.
many figures too, which helps.
Yeah. I've I've never wanted to. It just seemed way too time intensive.
It's
Um,
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, it's you're better off doing just investing in content and monetizing that way. Bricklink is it's awful for anybody that does not really love it.
Yeah. Well, and then you also have the issue. So I hear again. You should be the one talking because you're more the expert even 3 months in than I am. But as you add more lots, you get more sales, so it really kind of benefits scale. So I read.
Yep, yep, yeah. It's that's what I've heard as well. We had Noah from the Brick Shed on a couple weeks ago, and man, that kid is unbelievable. He's got 26,000 lots in his store.
Wow.
That's so many. It's
Yeah.
so many. And he's just crushing it over there. He's a wicked nice guy. He's got a great operation going. I learned a ton. And yeah, it's variety really is the lifeblood of the business.
I'm
It's
glad I'm
uh,
glad he's nice. I don't hear a lot of brick linkers who are like, oh yeah, this big brick linker is like a real jerk, like real really unpleasant person. Like it seems like if you do that, you're like automatically a nice person.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I've I think I've only heard like two or three negative things
Hmm.
about Bricklink sellers, and I think most of that was because they were such hobbyists. The issue was shipping time was terrible.
Oh, okay, so just not great customer service.
Yeah, where it's like, they got everything listed, but they weren't really, it was more to keep track of their own personal inventory, not
Mm.
expecting anything to ever sell. So
So not
3
like a
weeks later,
power, yeah,
yeah,
not
yeah,
a
no,
power seller going like I have thousands of sales and I'm just a jerk.
no, I don't think
Yeah,
I've heard anything like that, which is
I
cool.
don't I haven't either. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it a regular thing to get some Bricklink sellers on here from time to time. Ralph from Ralph Bricks will be on with us a couple weeks. Um, he's a married guy with kids doing Bricklink full time now, which that's amazing to me. I'm pretty sure she works as well, so it's not just their whole household riding on Bricklink, but it's uh it's pretty good though. I mean, just being able to pull your weight, doing Bricklink. He's got a membership program too.
Okay.
So yeah, that's really well priced too. I think I'm paying like $5 a month to subscribe to his channel just for extra video content
Sure.
where he runs through his financials for the Bricklink store. They do kind of like Brick Talk. They'll do something like that, but it's some of those are long, 2+ hours, I think.
Mm.
Those are members only. Uh, I would subscribe just to throw it out there if you guys decide to go that route at some point.
Well,
And
to do to
I'm sure I'm not alone there.
yeah. We've talked about it. Kevin's a really great business partner, and we've been kind of thinking of just what to offer the investing niche. There's already such great programs out there
Mhm.
that we feel if we were to focus on investing, we wouldn't have much new to say that's not already out there, and that's kind of why part of why we partnered up with Shane. Um,
Yep.
One, we really like his program. Um, but also, yeah. So we're thinking about it. If we do something like that, first of all, thank you for saying that. And if we do it, we're kind of thinking of focusing more on the fandom, the personality. I guess I could ask you, if you were to pay $5 a month for Brick Talk Premium, what would you want to see? What features would you want?
So, so looking at uh, when was that? Was it last week? The episode with Brian was out.
That was a week ago.
Was
Yeah.
that last? Okay. I think that may have been the best one yet because
Hmm.
I think you guys hit the perfect ratio of doing your job and like banter.
Yeah.
I think that was exactly the perfect ratio. I think you guys nailed it.
Hmm.
That was great. I love the little digs that you and Kevin throw at each other. And I love that kind of stuff. I like the good set, bad set kind of thing.
Hmm.
I love, it's hot takes are always amusing to me because it doesn't matter whose show it is. There's always one that just kind of falls flat, and there's always one that's like somebody hesitated before they kind of came up with this one, and people's reactions are always fun. And I
Yeah.
love all of that.
I think unfortunately mine may have been the one that fell flat. I was arguing we need more Master Builder series sets, and everyone's like, "Yeah," and
Yeah, it's. I think the Death Star is Master Builder. I think that's where that's going to go.
it may not be called. I agree with you. I think it may not be called that, but I mean, is it confirmed that it's 40 minifigures or 30 some odd?
Uh, well, it seems to be the general consensus amongst all of the leakers, but
Yeah.
no confirmation from Lego. But 38 minifigures, whatever it was, it's a 9,200 pieces, something wild like that. If it's not Master Builders, it's a giant light bluish gray golf ball.
With 40 minifigures. Yeah, that sucks. I
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think it's going to be Master Builder series or all but in name.
yep, yeah.
So
Because if it's UCS, they're gonna give you a yardstick with studs on it to just stick all of the minifigures on.
yeah,
That makes
Jabba's
no
Jabba's
sense.
style.
Yeah, no good, no good. If they do Master Builders, it could be really cool. I don't think it could ever properly be a playset because it'll roll away. Like I don't know how that would even function. It would have to have a hell of a base.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it would.
Yeah, I can just imagine my 3-year-old touching it. It just rolls. Oh, that'd be tragic. And they're not going to do 3 UCS sets in a year. I can't see that.
No,
Three in a
I
year
hate
is
to say it.
crazy.
I kind of have a bad feeling about that $1,000 Death Star.
Yeah,
Not because of the price. I mean, okay, maybe a little because of the price, but really because it's just too big. It's too long of a build. It's too high of a price. We're paying that price, and what are we getting? Like the nature of physics or of geometry, I should say, is that twice as many pieces. You know what I mean? Like pi. Like that's how circles work. It's not linear. So it might be double the piece count and 30% bigger.
yeah, yeah.
I would almost want to see like a two-dimensional, like hula hoop sized disc with like all the play scenes. But I don't think they do $1,000 play set because if it's 8 plus, grandma doesn't have $1,000 for a
Yeah,
Christmas present.
yeah. I I kind of like the idea of splitting the golf ball down the center and having it just open up, just like hinged somehow, so you could
Ah,
butterfly the golf ball. S-
instead of the surface peeling away.
Yep.
Yeah, that which seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, because if think about how much more room it takes to open up all of those flaps.
I mean, I don't think too much. They're already attached with hinges, right? It's just open the hinges.
Well, but how much more space do you need to display that? It's got to be on a turntable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's hard. But if you get it on hinges and you can butterfly it, then you can just have all of the scenes and all of the minifigs displayed, and they're minifigures, so they're locked in pretty good, and then you can just close it if you want to display it that way. So you
Yeah.
can have the best of both worlds, maybe.
It's a real head scratcher, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just get a bad feeling that it's not going to be the best set of all time.
No, and they're not going to sell a lot of them. I
No.
don't think they care. I really don't think they care. It's going to get newspaper headlines or whatever the equivalent it is. You know, it's blog headlines, and
Yeah.
the New York Times or somebody will write about it, and it's an ad campaign. You know,
It's a good point. I
they're going to
didn't
get
think
a
about that.
yeah, they're going to get a lot of free press from it. The first $1,000 Lego set, you know, it's big to do. $1,000 for a toy, there'll be an uproar, it'll be a big scandal, and you know, somebody's going to cry in a corner. It's going to be a big deal, and each store will stock, you know, 3, and
Yeah.
that's all they ever need. I can't imagine the size of that box. Oh my word!
No. No. Yeah. I mean, I'll wait and see. I think it's rumored for October release.
Yep.
So ideally we would get a leak like August, September.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not that interested. I'll say it a third time.
Yeah.
I just get a bad feeling. I don't think it's going to be really that great.
Yeah. I'm excited for the people that are excited. Like it's kind of the same every time a UCS set comes out. It's like the people that are really into whatever specific thing is coming. I love to see how excited they get about it.
Yeah.
You know, with Django Slave One, it's Ostif. Oh, it's the best set of my life. Great, I'm thrilled for him. Sean from ACOB with the sail barge, best set of his life. He's all excited. That's that's what this product is about.
Yeah.
You know, it's a love it or hate. You know, it's each individual thing. It doesn't matter. It brings a lot of joy to people, and that makes me happy. I love seeing that stuff. So more of that, even if it's got something I'm into, that doesn't matter. I don't have to buy it. You know,
Yeah. In fact, you can't buy all of it.
no, no. And if I did, I'd probably sell most of it anyway. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all have our, right? You're into power miners, was it? Or
yep, yep,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Someday maybe I'll pick up a couple of them. There's really no need to have the complete theme. That's just I'm not that level of a completionist, but you know, a couple of the sets would be cool to have.
Maybe 10 years ago it would have been doable, but now
Yep,
I mean, barely possible, I'll just say.
yep, yeah.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Although you see people like, well, Ryan M&R has done it. Um, Somebody else just did it recently, where it's like, oh, I've amassed a collection of every single Lego Star Wars set ever released, and I'm going to put it on Whatnot. It's like, well, that was a lot of work to, you know, have it for a week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and at that point you need 2 Lego rooms in your house. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just I mean, I'm not knocking it. You know, if you have the budget and space, sure, go ahead. Eat your heart out. Most people won't be doing that.
No, that's just, it's so crazy. I got to get a Whatnot seller on the show at some point. That is so interesting to me. Have you watched
Me
any of those?
I have popped into some streams. I've thought of selling on there myself to kind of thin out the figure collection. I thought it'd be kind of fun to, you know, as a somewhat of a Lego personality, like, hey, you know, come check it out. You can have. I'm I'm selling off parts of the DG Bricks fig collection. If you're interested, here you go. I don't think I'll really get above market. That's not my goal. I think it would just be kind of fun.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely don't have the personality for that type of sales, but it's I can understand how people get addicted to watching those streams and shopping there. It's yeah, it just there's action. It's so fast paced. There's a million things going on and giveaways and some of those guys are unbelievable.
Yeah,
Jandern, I think is great. Um, Fritz's Bricks, it's fun. Whoppy, I think it's
I
the
don't know
guy's
the
name.
particular ones.
Yeah, the- basically it's everybody I found through 3A Cup, the Girth Gang over there.
Yeah,
They're all a bunch of characters, and it's all Star Wars stuff, so it's really nothing I'd be buying anyway. They really entertain me. That's a skill set all of its own, I think.
yeah, totally. I think I'd
That's fun.
yeah, I think I'll put my energies elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to give it a shot though. I mean, there's more mellow people that have been on there. It's Pop's Block Shop. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No, I'm
He's
not.
a so Derek runs Pop's Block Shop. He's a Bricklink seller. Uh, I don't know if he's on Whatnot anymore. He was on there for a bit, I think. He does a lot of the convention circuit, but full-time Bricklink seller, paid off his house. It's pretty good, and you can retire from your job at I don't know whatever he was. He's a little younger than I am, so I don't know, maybe 40 or so. Basically retires from his job at 40, goes full time as a Bricklink seller, and pays off his house. It's a good gig, man.
What's not to love?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I don't think he's got any kind of memberships going. I think he's just got that level of discipline and hustle.
Respect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His YouTube channel's pretty good. I mean, if you're not a Bricklink seller, maybe it's not that good. His personality keeps me sold and entertained. But
All right,
it's
I just looked it up. I'm gonna check it out after this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, watch one. It just give it a pass through. It's wild. He gets up at like 5 a.m. and goes for a run, and then takes care of his daughter, and then goes and works for a couple hours, and goes for a run, and takes care of his daughter for a little bit, and goes back. He's got his kids working for him, or a kid working for him.
Yeah,
It's a pretty cool
heck
little
yeah.
business. All in his basement. Pretty cool.
Some people have pretty large basements, so
Yeah,
make use of it.
yeah. I want to say he's not that far from you. Maybe a little bit. I think he said when he goes to the Green Bay convention, I think he said it's about an hour ride.
Oh, so he's in
So
Wisconsin.
yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
he's up there somewhere.
there's a
So
probably everywhere. I know a couple AFOLs in Wisconsin. And maybe there's something about Wisconsin. I don't know.
yeah, I think I've only been there like twice, and only for passing through, more or less.
Yeah,
I want to go to the fair. I feel like that's something I should do.
the fair, just like the county
Yeah.
fair, any fair.
Yeah, well, isn't they have where is it? Is it Wisconsin or maybe I'm thinking of Minnesota? They have that big state fair.
I don't know.
I thought it was Wisconsin that had a big state fair.
I think a
Why
lot
am
of
I drawing a
states have
blank on it?
big. I don't know. I'm not really
Yeah,
a.
but they have the big cheese festival thing too.
Oh well, yeah, that's Wisconsin.
Yeah, I like cheese.
Yeah. Well, you would like
Why not have
Wisconsin.
yeah,
It's all
why not
cheese
have a
and
full
beer.
festival around it?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And there's some sports stuff that you could kind of check off a list up there too. Kind of cool.
Depending what you're into. I know you said before this you're into baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean it's you go up there, football's gotta be a thing, right?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be too bad. I've tried to stay away from sports since people started kneeling a bunch of years ago. But
Oh, sure.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that also timed out with, it's growing a family and losing time and everything else too, and the price of every single ticket going through the roof. So
Yeah.
it doesn't help. Yeah. I think, what do we figure? It's for if you could possibly score 4 tickets to a Patriots game, it's like a $2,000 day if you want
Yeah.
like a hot dog and a water while you're there. It's getting
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, when I was in Milwaukee last weekend, we went and saw the Brewers. My Chicago Cubs were visiting the Brewers. I say my Cubs. I'm not really a Cubs fan. I'm a Dodger fan. I'm from LA. But we got like a beer, 2 beer brats, and a Cracker Jack, and it was like $40. And I was like, wow, as sports games go, like that's pretty affordable.
Yep.
I'm used to Dodger Stadium where it'd be double that.
Yep. Yeah. What was the last update I got? I think, I think I was told Celtics game is $16 for a beer.
Hmm.
I think it's what I heard. Just generic draft beer, $16. Yeah, why? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. It's like never
Um,
needed a beer that bad. Um,
yeah.
there. Okay, maybe there's been moments, but yeah,
Like
it's crazy.
picturing like a deserted man in the middle of a desert, like a beer comes down from heaven. Like, nope, I still wouldn't pay $16.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure I can break open a cactus without hurting myself. Be all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, gotta be smart with the money.
Yep. All right. So it is getting late here, but one topic we haven't really covered, which I feel like we should, especially since I
Sure.
put it in the thumbnail. The so how's the recovery been?
It's ongoing. I'll say slow.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah.
slow. Um, so today it's May 7th. We're recording this. So this is 4 months to the day
Wow.
since the wildfires in California. For those that don't know, um, so I'm from Altadena, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. It's right up against the foothills. Like my backyard, I can walk out my front door and be at the top of a mountain in an hour. So it's a very, like, I'd say rural feeling place. It really doesn't feel like 30 minutes from downtown LA. But back in January, you might have heard we had some wildfires. Um, Pretty much burned the whole town down, including my family home, my dad's house, and my inventory, which I was um, storing upstairs in the attic. It was kind of underutilized space, which is why we thought like maybe we can do some rentals. How do we generate some income with this attic space? And for a couple of years, Lego investing was a great solution to that. It was great for me. I didn't have to pay for storage. I could ship things. Hey dad, I got 10 packages coming. Be on the lookout. Okay, So it was a fun little thing. It was a nice operation. Um, but natural disaster risk is a real thing, no matter where you live. And so it was a terribly tragic thing. Um, Happy to like field more questions about it, but basically, I got wiped out, and I didn't have insurance, which is my own fault. I know I should have known better, and I'd actually told myself I'm going to get some insurance before the next fire season, which is traditionally end of summer and fall. And then by the time you get close to Christmas, you usually have like rain falling, and then that's kind of the end of the fire season. So got burned pretty bad on that. Um, I don't mind sharing. I lost about 55 grand of inventory. So
Yeah.
that's market value. My cost was like 25 grand.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it more important than Lego, as much as that sucks. It's how's the family doing? Is everybody good? I mean, is everybody okay?
Everyone,
I guess
yes,
is the better way.
everyone is physically safe,
Okay.
which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Um, at the moment, it was just my dad living there. My parents have been separated my whole life, pretty much. So it was just my
Right.
dad, um, and he has loved ones to stay with. He's got a great long-term partner. They're not married, but yeah, he has loved ones to stay with nearby. His parents, my grandparents, are there in town in Pasadena, and we have kind of family all over the West Coast. So family's around. Um, so recovery. Um, there's kind of the physical aspect of it, which is the Army Corps of Engineers. If you can believe it or not, it's such a big project because like 9,000 structures burned. So the physical volume of debris, I don't remember the numbers, but it's like millions of tons. So every day, the Army Corps of Engineers um, is using excavators and dump trucks and heavy equipment to remove the debris, remove trees that are hazardous, and basically like wipe the ground clean. And then from there, people are either going to sell or rebuild. Um, so that's kind of ongoing. Our lot hasn't been cleared yet. It should be in the next couple of weeks. And then from there, we have to kind of decide how to rebuild, what to rebuild, in what order to rebuild. Talking about cash flow, we had a rental house on the property that also
Oh,
burned. So
oh man.
yeah, no. So it's been a big mess, very overwhelming. Um, so there's kind of the physical part, which is going to happen soon in the next few weeks, and then there's the financial part, which is obviously huge. Um, so it's pretty wild. It's the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. It's of course it's a tragedy. It's been very difficult emotionally. At the same time, people have been so supportive and um, helpful, pointing me to resources, words of encouragement, financial contributions. There's a real like we're all in this together mentality. Altadena is a very tight knit community. People really know their neighbors. It's a really cool place. It's a really special place. I would say highly recommend visiting, but maybe give it a few years.
Did you did you have any indication that it was gonna be that it was gonna get to you specifically, or was it okay? There's lots of things on fire. This can't possibly get to us. What was the thought process there?
um, I wasn't physically there at the time of the fire. So the fire happened January 7th at night, and then it burned overnight into the 8th, and then kind of smoldering on to the 9th and 10th. Um, I was worried when it first began because it began maybe a mile and a half from my house. Um, so I had just basically wrapped up my Christmas holiday, being home for Christmas and New Year's. So I had just flown back to Chicago. Um, and then like 3 days later, we kind of had some warning ahead of time. There's a local meteorologist that like really studies the microclimate of Altadena because it's right up against the foothills, and so there's different mountain ridges, and basically between each mountain ridge, there's like canyons that kind of channel the wind different directions and make different microclimates. So it can be 15 degrees hotter or colder, or raining, not raining, whatever. So this meteorologist, his name's Edgar McGregor. You might have heard about him in the news if you followed this story at all. He basically issued a warning, like, hey, we're going to have a windstorm that was predicted. I think I might be rambling a little bit and not addressing the question. But basically, it was predicted that on these days there'd be extreme fire danger. Be packed up, ready to evacuate. So as soon as it lit, everyone was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So they told you it was going to happen. It just wasn't immediate that they told you, I guess.
They said like extreme fire danger, like be on the lookout, like don't light any campfires, that kind of thing. So I wasn't there at the time. My dad was, and so the thing about the winds being that strong, and then especially once it started to spread and multiple houses were on fire, like the fire department isn't equipped to handle that. The fire department, any fire department, the best fire department in the world, is equipped to like put out a structure, put out 2 structures, or like contain it, make a fire break. So the fire department got pretty overwhelmed pretty quickly, and it's kind of a controversial thing because, first of all, I'll say I have so much respect for firefighters. Very hard job, obviously, very dangerous job. I have firefighters in my family, so I'm not blaming the frontline firefighters, but the leadership in LA County, which is the government. There is no city in Altadena. It's the county. And LA County is huge. So Altadena is like 1% of what the county is responsible for. At some point, leadership basically told the firefighters to withdraw and stop responding. So overnight, when the winds were crazy, crazy strong, and there was like nothing they could do to stop it, they were evacuating folks and not really fighting the fire because it's like, what's the point? The really, really tragic part is the morning of the 8th, like a lot had already burned, but they basically withdrew and let the rest of it burn. So I figured out my dad stayed and hosed the roof down, like did his best. Our house is kind of, it's not like a normal city block. The houses are kind of spread out. Basically, there's exits on 4 sides. And my dad stayed and hosed down the roof and tried to like do the best he could to try to help his odds, but really there's not so much you can do. And then about 2 a.m. So our house there's 4 exits. And about 2 a.m., 2 of the exits were on fire. So dad said, all right, that's enough. I'm getting out of here. I'm not losing my life over this. So he left. And I'm glad that he did. I got a video from a neighbor of them driving through. They had left and then come back on the 8th at 10 a.m. on my street, and everything was gone. Like the houses weren't even burning. It was just like smoldering. You know how the end of a campfire gets?
Yep.
So sometime between 2 a.m. and 10 a.m., like it came through my street. Yeah. So it's a pretty crazy event. It's been very interesting. And I wasn't physically there, but I was basically up all night on Facebook getting videos from my neighbors and different people. So I have a pretty good, like I followed it really closely. I have a pretty good idea what happened. But yeah.
Wow. That's man, that is a wild one.
Yeah. It's a crazy
Man,
story.
I am so sorry. That is just Mother Nature. She is something else.
Yeah, she is. So after the fact, this was really interesting. I was reading up on, I think it's the Wikipedia article for chaparral, which is a word for the natural, like the biome, basically. It's kind of like a desert, but it's not like a sandy desert. It's more shrubs, and it's the natural biome of Los Angeles, basically. And scientists have found that over the last 2,000 years, from looking at the geologic record, California has had two droughts exceeding 100 years. So this is just a natural
Jeez.
part of this just happens. It's part of the nature. Like before you even think about any human action or any climate change or anything like that, like this is just a natural part. Drought and then wildfire is part of that region.
Yeah.
So it's really it's kind of people's fault for building right up against the forest.
Yeah. That's nuts, though.
Yeah.
So, okay, so your Lego collection inventory
Hmm.
was in the attic.
Yeah.
Even if even if you wanted or were able to put a claim on that, how would that work? Because there's after a fire, I can't imagine Lego sticks around very long.
No.
So, how would you even prove that it was there? How does that type of thing work?
Um, Great question. In California, your home insurance specifically excludes fire. Um,
Okay.
it's a separate policy, fire coverages. Um, so I could make a homeowner's policy claim. They would just kick it back and say, well, it was because of fire, so we're not going to cover you. Um, I could prove it with pictures, shipping invoices, because over the years I have, hundreds of invoices showing delivery of X number of X set to this address. Um, and if I had had insurance, that's the way I would go about it. Um, but the really sad part, if you're ready for it, is we didn't have fire insurance. We thought that we did,
Oh no.
but uh, forgot to renew the policy. And we're not the only ones either. So a lot of neighbors either forgot to renew their policy or got their policy pulled by the insurance company or were underinsured. Um, so that's like the trickiest financial part is we lost our house and everything in it and the rental house. And someday, like 3 or 5 or 8 years from now, there may be a lawsuit payout from the electrical company because they're pretty sure, still investigating, but they're pretty sure, and I'm convinced that the electrical utility started it, the
Okay.
faulty equipment, not on purpose,
Yep.
to be clear. So there's that financial recourse kind of long-term future, but as far as immediate rebuilding, we have no insurance payout.
Oof.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole family is just getting out of college and trying to get started.
Pretty much.
Trying
Yeah,
to
it's
buy
like
that
it's
first
like
home.
reverse American dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
So,
That's crazy.
I mean, we're not dead
So
in the water. Like my dad has some savings. There's different people in my family that have, some financial resources that we can use. So um, we're gonna start. The first thing we're gonna build is an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, basically a grandmother unit, like a tiny house.
yep.
That's just so my dad can have a place to live, um, and kind of start to snowball it. Then we're going to build another rental. Um, is kind of the plan now, and then eventually another house as well. So kind of TBD.
Jeez. So just some mental math here. So your dad's early mid 50s, somewhere in there?
He's a little bit older.
Fif-
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had kids pretty late. So
Okay.
he's in his 60s.
Okay. All right. So he's still in a decent spot in his life where, it's he's he's able to hang in a tiny house and do his own
Yeah.
thing. All
Yeah.
right. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another decade or so make the situation a whole hell of a lot worse, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so it's going to be okay. Like long term it really is. It's devastating now, like emotionally, financially, in every way. But something that gives me a lot of hope is much like with Lego investing, time is now our friend versus time being our enemy. Like if we have
Yep.
debt, time is not your friend.
Yep.
But in this case, it's getting cleaned up with time. Um, like I said, hopefully, maybe one day there will be a lawsuit payout. Um, so the worst is over, is what I'll say.
So I never really thought about this, but if you own a property as much as the government will ever recognize anybody owning anything, um, and you have a mortgage on it and it burns down, do you
Mhm.
not only lose your house, but you have to continue to pay for it the whole time? That's
Yeah.
that's probably the case, right?
So fortunately for us, our we did not have a mortgage; it was paid off.
Beautiful, beautiful.
But
That's great
my
to hear.
friends and neighbors who did, yeah, you still pay the mortgage. And in fact, I think there's like forbearance for 6 months or 12 months, but it's the payments aren't suspended. You still owe the bank that same amount. And actually, at the end of the 12-month forbearance or whatever, like you have to make now a giant payment of 12 months of payments.
Yep.
Um, so my neighbors that do have mortgages are in a really tough spot because now they're paying a mortgage on a place that they can't live. So they're also now paying rent on a new place. So they're basically paying double. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my father lives down in Fort Myers, and they just had the hurricane issue. Was it
Oh yeah.
2 years ago? And the building across from his, they basically took the whole roof off the building and threw it into a parking lot. He's told me some of the stories, that kind of situation where it's they're 2 years out of having their being able to live in their condo, so they're paying that mortgage while they're paying to live somewhere else.
Yeah. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, and meanwhile, some of the buildings still don't have roofs on them.
I mean, in that climate, what do you do? It rains so much.
Yeah, yeah, it's the opposite problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's they want to swim in their bathtub. It's all right because their bathtub is now in a parking lot.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's the saying? Like, tough times make tough people. It's what is it? It's good men make good times make soft people make bad times make good people. The cycle repeats.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's the truth.
yeah.
I guess that's the one upside of living in southern New England is the weather here just sucks all the time, but it's never catastrophic.
Okay.
We've had some blizzards, whatever, but it's a blizzard. Who cares? It's really not that big of a deal. Some people lose power. There's always a couple little tragedies in there, which I don't want to downplay. It's some people having a heart attack shoveling, whatever. That's awful, but it's not grand scale.
Yeah.
It's for the most part, it's like, wah, it's like 7 degrees and I'm wet. It's like, yeah, you know, it's fine. We'll all be okay.
I mean,
So,
I don't want to make it a, you know, a suffering competition. So I don't want to downplay anyone else's, hardships.
Yeah, it's you guys. Fire is a whole different level, though.
Yeah.
Whole
Yeah, it's
different
pretty
level.
crazy.
Let's see.
Hey, Kevin. We got KDX here in the chat.
Yeah, Kevin and Mayo. Welcome, guys. Yeah, some people up late tonight. I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
no
actually,
kidding.
this is not late for Mayo. Mayo is out in Australia,
Ah,
so very, very different over there. It's, what do we figure Australia is? It's 12 hours, 14 hours, somewhere in there. I want to say 12.
that makes it easy.
Yeah.
The conversion.
Yeah, I think it's 12 because New Zealand was 15, I think is how that worked out. Yeah, so he's already in the future. It's already lunchtime tomorrow for him.
That's right. Yeah, because the May the 4th folks in Australia, that they get it first.
Yep. They get everything first. That's that's kind of one of our tricks, right? Is, every time there's a promo, we just log into their site, see what they got, and realize that, this year they had a retailer that was giving away last year's GWPs, all kinds of things. Did you see that one?
I did see that. The droid carrier is so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and trading cards and all kinds of things they were doing. That was nuts.
Weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, that's got a lot going on.
yeah. So have you started the rebuild, or are you still in the shopping and planning phase?
Shopping and
As far
planning.
as inventory. Yeah.
Oh, for inventory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm definitely scheming. I made a discovery that in LA County, you can have a garden shed up to 120 square feet. So it has to be a garden
Okay.
shed, no utilities, just like a tool shed. But you can do it
Yeah.
without permits.
Fantastic.
And 12 by 10, you can fit a decent amount of inventory in there,
Yep.
as long as
So
it's set back from your neighbor's property line and everything. Um, but it's pretty affordable. And how much does it cost to build a garden shed? $1,000, maybe $2,000.
yep.
Not a ton.
Yeah. You could buy one from Home Depot and have it delivered assembled.
Literally that. Or you could buy a kit and assemble it yourself. And as far as I can tell, you can basically copy paste these garden sheds and just spam them down everywhere if you want.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There doesn't appear to be a limit, as far as I can tell so far. So I know I can rent a storage unit, but for the cost of a year or two's rent, I could own my own storage, and it would be on site, like out back of my dad's tiny house and eventually like our new house. So it's kind of the dream.
Yeah.
So
So thinking here with with California taxes being so high, isn't there a benefit to having things shipped to you? I mean, I know tax exemptions are a thing, and that makes a big difference, but shop at home, Target, places like that doesn't help much.
yeah, I mean for the sales tax, California sales tax is high. I'm kind of trying not to purchase as much from those retailers that don't take a sales tax exemption.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have income tax as well, which, again, California, very high.
Yeah.
So I've looked at like some third party fulfillment in Oregon or different states with no sales tax. I think in the end, I want to have my own inventory on site just for operational flexibility. So
Yeah.
for now, I'm thinking garden sheds.
But that
um,
sounds like a pretty good play. I mean, it's certainly
yeah,
simple.
yeah. And then I mean, I have my personal collection behind me here. I have a tiny bit of inventory here in Chicago, but really mostly starting from scratch. So it's kind of a fresh start, actually.
What's the outlook there? Do you I don't even know how to say it. Is it like, okay, well, I've learned a lot of lessons. If, you know, given the same $30,000, this batch at that dollar value will be much better than the last batch at that dollar value. How do you feel about it?
Ah, that's an interesting question. Not so much. I mean, I'll pat myself on the back. I did pretty well in 22 and 23, getting good sets at good prices. Um, so, am I sad to lose those? Of course I am. Um, will there be just as good opportunities this year? Just about. But I don't know that Kohl's will have the Mandalorian Starfighter for 40% off that I can buy for 35 and sell for 80.
Yeah.
So there's opportunity every year. I think it just kind of shifts around based on which segment in the market, investors over allocate into.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Finding the couple hidden gems in there. The ones that are not, numbers 1 through 3 on Kevin's list.
Kevin's list is
Might
actually so
find a couple
helpful for
gems
that.
there. Yep.
Yeah. So no, the outlook is good and getting better all the time, I would say.
Awesome. I love that. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'd imagine after all this time, you're a lot more comfortable with just looking at the data and having that little trigger response. Like, yeah, okay, it's I see where this one's going. Let's set this aside a bit.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm kind of using it as a fresh slate. Like I said, I'm getting QuickBooks. I'm getting Keepa. I'm getting kind of the right tools to do the job at scale, right? So I wish I'd got those things years ago, but better now than wait longer.
So tools are nice. Tools are nice. So
Yeah.
it's what is it called that you guys use? Bucky is the thing that you use.
In Shane's group, yeah, his bot is
Yeah.
called Bucky.
Okay. Is that an acronym or is that just like he thought it would be fun to name it Bucky?
I think it's just the name. It probably should be an acronym,
Okay.
just because it's Brick, Bucks, Ignite, Bucky. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering because anything like that's robot, I feel like should be an acronym. Just all get
You're
lumped
not wrong.
into it.
You're not
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Brick Bucks Ignite Bucky. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, Kevin and I, we like the program. We refer to it. I think we're gonna get a little bit more involved with that, which would be cool. But still thinking about Brick Talk Premium. We want to make our viewers happy, so
Yeah.
we want to give our viewers what they want, right? What they're hungry for.
Yeah. I think it's a good play, and it's. I don't know exactly what your process looks like, but you say you do editing and whatnot. I'm sure you could put together the occasional blooper reel here and there. I think would be amusing.
Yeah.
You could do compilation episodes of, it's, revisit ones from like last year and see how things played out,
That's a good idea, is
things
to
like
go
that.
back and ask, like, did we get it right?
Yep.
Or did we not?
Yeah. Yeah. And you could almost do like a live reaction show of that. So you can give each other a bunch of shit for, oh, geez, or I told you so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause
Thing
like I
about
said, you guys play so well together. That would be fun.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is fun. The thing about Kevin's horrible diorama take is he's really dug his heels in so hard, and if it were me, I would be slowly walking that take back, but Kevin's just digging his heels in, so
Yeah.
he makes it easy for me.
There are some people that are going to make a lot of money on that because there was a lot of those to be found for $20 on clearance at Walmart.
This is what I was saying 3 hours ago. I'm going to start hitting the Walmart in-store clearance because as of yet, I really do online for 90% of my sourcing. I don't know what your percentage is there.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, in this area, I have the same problem you do where the clearance is basically non-existent, and if it is, it's gone in 2 seconds if it's
Yeah.
worthwhile. We still have Marvel Legends on hanging on the pegs from the Eternals movie.
Yeah, the Dorito triangle.
Yeah, and it's I forget which one it is. Ajax, I think, is the one that's still on the shelf. And 20% off. 17.99, I think it is, still after all this time. That's what clearance looks like here.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, I don't know about New England, but if it's anything like the Midwest, the rural areas can be a real gold mine.
yeah. Yeah. Just gotta find time to get out there. Unfortunately, I work too much.
Yeah,
Working during the
unfortunately,
day,
you have a day
working in a
job, and
group. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Pesky day jobs.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all right. Closer every day. Someday it'll be gone.
It's your choice, right? If you love it, keep doing it till the day you die. But if you
Yeah.
don't, then get out.
Yeah. That's a struggle, as I do love it, but your body can only handle so much. I've been in the trades for 25 years now. I had to think about that one. That's too long.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
So
My dad worked in the trades, so
awesome.
I kind of grew up on summer vacations helping him on job sites. So I have a lot of respect for the trades.
Yeah, it's important, I think. It's kind of keeps everything moving. It's houses wouldn't be standing here without people in the trades, I suppose. But
Yep.
there comes a point where you'd rather just let somebody else do it. You know, it's, it's basically all I've done my entire adult life. It started when I was 20. Oh,
Wow.
it's been a long time now. 25 years banging nails, climbing ladders, playing with mud and poop and all the good stuff.
Oh,
It's a
so
glamorous life.
sounds like carpentry and plumbing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's residential construction. You end up doing everything. It's patching roofs and installing doors and pouring concrete. We end up everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it
yep. And
is.
all of it hurts for time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard living. I mean, it's hard work, but it's important and can be lucrative. So I hear.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right. And really, it's a lot of it is fun. It's sometimes you have really cool things to show for what you did.
Yeah.
And, some of the transformations are cool and the customers are all excited when everything goes well. So it's rewarding to a degree. And after enough years, it gets a little redundant too. So, gonna try to spice it up. We cut a hole in the side of a building the other day and kicked it into a puddle. That was kind of fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, a 30-inch saw blade.
Woo.
That was pretty cool. Cut right through brick facade and the full concrete foundation. So
Wow.
you get some exciting things here and there still. But,
That's when maybe it's like the grass is always greener, but for me, being an editor, I make my living looking at screens all day. And
yeah,
that gets old. It gets hard on the eyes, and I kind of crave doing something physical.
yeah. Yeah, I guess the grass is always greener to some extent. You just gotta, try to water your lawn. But I I think working in the trades for me mentally is probably easier than doing desk work. I don't sit still so well unless I'm hanging out, talking, whatever, then that's fine. But I can't imagine doing the 9 to 5 at an office in the same spot, looking at the same wall every day. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be tough. I like the idea of just spilling 30 pounds of Lego on the floor, stretching out, putting on Netflix and getting after it.
Yep. Yep.
That's better.
Me too.
Yeah.
Probably it's have you noticed it kind of trains your eyesight to pick out the different colors and shapes?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a whole life of where's Waldo, right? Yeah. Yeah. I get this like vinyl mat thing that I picked up on Amazon, and I surround myself with 6-quart shoe boxes, like Rubbermaid shoe boxes,
Hmm.
and I just sit in front of the pile and just fire away at all the bins. And it's great. If there's a new show on YouTube that I got to watch, I get a notification from one of you guys, or there's a live stream going on. I just put it on the TV and just fire bricks.
Yeah, get in the zone, let your brain
Yeah.
kind of wander.
Yep. And it feels like you're being social because there's actually, like regular people on the TV talking about something that you're interested in.
Yeah.
That feels a lot better than just putting on whatever
Queer
whatever
Eye.
TV show. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yep. It's a lot more productive than that.
I agree. I
I
agree.
don't know if I've ever seen Queer Eye.
I don't think you need to.
I don't. Was that about a barbershop? Or did I make that up? Was there some hair salon, something related to that?
They do hair styling as part of it. It's like I think it was on E. It's just like a makeover show, basically.
That's what that was? Okay.
Yeah. They just
I
have
thought there was something
the
hair
bunch
related.
of a bunch of gay guys do the makeover. So that's basically the gimmick.
Oh, okay. Huh. What a random concept.
It's kind of novel. Yeah, I watched a few episodes whenever it came out, and I was like, okay, when it was trendy, and then it died off, and then the Lego set came out.
Yep. Oh. So is BTS gone now too?
I
Did they
think
wait
it
too
did.
late on that set?
I think it did retire.
Well, I know the set retired. Is the group still around? Because I think they hit their age and then had to like go off into the service or whatever the requirements were there.
I don't know. I read something like that, and I think
Okay.
it's like a hiatus. Like they may return, but they may not. Is what I heard.
Okay. So typical Lego fashion, they were late on that one as well. It sounds like.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
Well, we can look forward to some sub $300 Lord of the Rings sets. How about that?
Yep. What does it say? Which time zone is Ken in? It's only after. Oh, okay. No. So you are Chicago. You're 11:15 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, because after 9 is California time. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
in Eastern time, so it's 12:15 here. Which actually, on that note, I should probably wrap because yeah,
Getting
work
late.
comes soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't done any work tonight because we've been on for 3 hours 15 minutes, which is
Yeah.
well worth missing out on everything.
Ah, well, the
Tomorrow's
feeling
another
is
day.
mutual.
Well,
Feeling is
thank you,
mutual.
sir. It's been great hanging out with you. I appreciate you coming in tonight. What are we, 3 weeks away from the big show?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait for that.
I am excited. It's a big old Lego investor cornucopia.
Yep. I'm gonna try to actually add some structure to that and get you guys questions in advance. That might streamline things a little bit.
I mean, if we really get into it, it might be another 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Um, it's a little tough in the middle of the week to go past 3, but I'm
Yeah,
always up for it.
totally.
So,
Yeah.
all
Well,
right,
thank
sir.
you for having me on. It's been an honor. It's been really nice chatting with you about everything, and especially the Market Street lettuce green hairpiece.
Yep, I love that you knew that one. Fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Mayo, it's good to see you. Kevin, I think you said you're going to bed. Everyone else has been quiet. So if you're watching this on replay, next week we will have Clark from Bricks and Minifigs, Cincinnati East, but not East Cincinnati. Somehow that's different. I've already been corrected. Oh, until then, good night, everyone.
All right. Bye. Thanks.
See ya.